Welcome to the 100th episode of Conversation in Cold Ones podcast. I'm your host, Damien, with my co host, Jared.
Did you say Damium?
Damien.
Oh, hello.
Jared, why don't you take us into the brewskis of the week?
Hold on, I'm still trying to get this one open. For some reason, I was trying to show off and I couldn't get it open. Uh, all right. Well, as everyone's going to assume, I've got another Smirnoff Ice Pink Lemonade. So, stylish.
Yep. Uh, First time in a while, I'm drinking something different. I'm drinking a Blue Moon.
Cool.
Yeah, and I got a little, I don't know if you can see it swobbling around in there, but I got an orange in there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He's actually doing brewskis now. I like it.
Yep, I got a whole 6-pack in there. My mom's on cue to bring me more every like 10 minutes. So, yeah. Well, we wanted to say thank you for obviously listening to us for 100 episodes or however long you've been listening. It's crazy that we're even here.
I know.
So I just want to start off with Jared, what's been some of your favorite memories on the podcast?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is the David being drunk and arguing about Spider-Man.
That's always a good
Just
one.
'cause
That's always a good
I
one.
feel like that one's been referenced a lot. Um, I think honestly our first episode with the Marvel rankings and talking about Endgame or Infinity War, whichever one it was, right at the time when it first came out.
Yeah.
Uh, 3 hours long to this day, still the longest episode. So that's obviously a pretty good memory. I don't know. I feel like the all the game shows we've done, like the most recent one with everybody, the ones where it's been you and me quizzing each other, the one episode where we had the gun talk, I thought that was a really good one. I feel like a lot of the ones where we've had like the serious conversations after everything we normally talk about at the end, like we had a stretch of those in a row. Those were all really good ones too.
Yeah, I would I think the one where David's yelling at me obviously is like a topper. Just because he was hella drunk during that one. And then I would say after that, I really like our like award shows because of how much like fun I have like actually like putting together the editing for those. Um, Obviously the Sean Chandler talks about episode we did. God, that was like
Episode
episode.
10.
Yeah, I think it was episode 10. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I remember back
Yeah,
in
that
the
was a
day.
good one.
I remember back in the day. I was like, I think I said it on the podcast, like every 10 episodes, we're gonna have a new guest on. That's like someone big. Haven't done that. We've had like Cody
Nope.
on and David on, but like,
I was gonna say we did Cody. I think we did Cody or David for 20 to try to keep up with that, and then after that, just
maybe
didn't do it.
maybe episode 110, I'll try to get him back on.
Be cool.
Would be cool. That episode was crazy because it was the first time I actually had like prepare and like an interview sort of. Because
Yeah.
I remember when we were talking about it, when I was talking to him through messages, I was like, oh, like, do you have any ideas? He's like, no, it's your podcast. Talk about what you want to talk about. And I was like, oh, well, we do rankings. You want to do some rankings? And he goes, no, I kind of like to stay away from rankings. And I forget what we ended up talking about.
I don't remember. A long time ago.
Yeah. So obviously that's a classic. I think that's still our like second, or our first or second most viewed podcast. Yeah, and then obviously, like I said, the game awards, and then I think the past like 20 to 25 episodes have all been really good. So, it's definitely interesting. Like as I was getting stuff to do the intro, I'm trying to finish. Going back and like seeing how awkward we were, like it was. I feel like we've had face cams on forever, but we've only had face cams on for like 6 months, 7 months
And
now.
it's like I was gonna say not very many episodes. I was gonna say like one of the more iconic episodes is definitely like when we first got in the face cams. And also somewhere in the first 10 episodes when I realized that I had been recording the audio incorrectly and I'd been using my webcam audio, and then I realized I was using my mic. Like there's so much shit that's changed and like has evolved.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
having this bad boy of a mic right here compared to like, I used to have a fucking Snowball. The one we used for, ironically, episode 99, I used for like a long fucking time.
yeah. We pushed off the podcast from last week to this week, so we had time to finish a few things.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you to everyone that has watched or listened, whatever platform you're on. It's been a really fun ride. Like, it's my favorite time of the week. Like, I'd never like get on. I'm like, oh, we have to record the podcast. It's always like, we get to record the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
And it's fun to do.
I find that really funny because I'm also the same way, but there have been like a few times where I get like I get home from work, do whatever, and I go, "Fuck!" Like the podcast is tonight because it's like a day a game is released, and I'm like, "Shit!" Like we're not gonna be able to talk about that game in the podcast. We're also not gonna be able to play it because we have to record.
Right.
But it's always like that. We record it. It's like, well, we're gonna play it and talk about it. It's gonna be so exciting. And then the next week we're like, "All right, guys, it was awesome."
Yeah. Yep. Obviously here's Jared. Here's to 100 more with you, buddy.
I was gonna make that
Yeah.
as well.
Hell
yeah, brother.
So yeah, let's get right into this episode before we do our Marvel re-rankings as like a celebration. And we promise this podcast won't be 3 hours.
Give or take.
No, it won't be 3 hours. It's
Give or take.
No, we're professionals now. It's gonna be an hour and a half.
We're professionals now, he says.
Dude, when I went back and watched that first episode, not the whole thing, but I was like kind of just clicking through, just seeing like what we were doing, and man, there was like, it was so weird to listen to because one, our mic sounds so different, and we were so nervous talking. Like when I first turned it on, like the first hour, like you could tell there were some nerves, and then like once hour 2 hit, we were fine. But that first hour is rough to listen to.
It's not even like, oh, over the course of like the first 10 episodes, we developed so much in terms of becoming more comfortable. Like in the first hour or in the first episode, because it's 3 hours, it goes from, oh shit, this is scary, to, okay, we're cool, to, oh, we're all loose now.
Yeah, we're cool.
I mean, there's still obviously that development from 1 to 100. Like you can see how it grows. But like in the first episode alone, you get a huge fucking grade of just so much shit that we did differently.
It was also, before we move on, like it was also cool to like when we first started doing face cams, like how much can change in a year. Because like when we first turned on face cams, like I didn't have this. I think I just got my PS5 and I didn't even have like my second desk right here. I didn't have a lot of shit, and it was the same thing with you. Like your whole fucking background was taken apart.
I was gonna say, I used to be sitting right here, essentially, like right there is where I used to sit, and right behind the camera was fucking like a construction site, essentially.
Yep,
stuff was different.
Alrighty, well, let's get into it. We've had 3 big games launch this week or the past week. Let's talk about probably the biggest one first. Call of Duty Vanguard came out last Tuesday, well, 2 Tuesdays ago, I guess you want to put it. I haven't played the campaign, so I can't speak on the campaign. From what I've heard, it's short and fun. But I don't even have it installed, so I can't tell you what it's like. I hear it's pretty decent. I don't know if it's better in Cold War. I can't tell you. I've been playing strictly multiplayer. And I gotta say, the multiplayer is actually really fun. I'm having a lot of fun playing COD again. Cold War was fun, but I mainly just played that. I played that game because I just wanted to be like good at COD and continue to play. I never got on, was like having a really fun time unless we were doing like a 2v2 or some with the boys. Sorry. Yeah, with this game, I'm constantly wanting to get on and play it. When I'm at work, I'm constantly thinking about playing it, and the maps I think are better. Like they're way better than Modern Warfare for sure. And when it comes to Cold War, I don't think there's a map better than Checkmate, but Checkmate's also a fantastic map. So I think for the maps that it gives you, it is really good. And it gives you a lot of maps too. Stuff like Das House is fun. Castle being back and Dome being back from World at War is cool. And then there's 2 desert maps that are all right. So I think a lot of the maps are really solid. I think the guns need a little bit of a tuning. The STG is a little rough. What I will say though is, you know, I do see more people using a variety of weapons in more matches. Like when it came to Cold War, it was the Krig, the AK, most of the time in pub matches, and someone would be using like the one DLC SMG. I forget what it was called.
I would say at launch. Well, the LC10 is what you're
Yeah,
talking about, I believe. At launch, and like when that first DLC came out, that's absolutely what Cold War was. At the end of its life cycle, though, holy shit, were there so many different things being
yeah.
crazy, stupid shit.
So it's been cool. Obviously, I'm using the MP40 a lot. It's really fun. We've been playing Champion Hill, which is a really fun game mode. It is 2 to 3 players, and me, Dallas, Jordan, Derek, Cody have gotten on basically every single day and played that game for, gosh, 5 to 6 hours apiece. Um, like me and Dallas last night, I think ripped 6 hours on it. So very fun. I can't give like a review yet. I'm still waiting. I don't know when I'll feel comfortable giving a review. I don't think I ever gave a review for Cold War. No, I think I did actually. I think I did. I gave a review on this channel for Modern Warfare, so maybe I'll make a separate video. But I think next week will be a good tell for me how I feel about COD, especially since Battlefield comes out tonight. So
Oh yeah, that's right.
when it comes to COD, next week I'll give a full review, I guess. Maybe I'll play the campaign. I will say with the zombies, there's much to desire. It's so the map that they have right now is, think of it as Outbreak but smaller. It's very much
Yep.
in the same concept as Outbreak. And the first round-based actual zombies map comes out in season 1, which is in 20 days. So that first zombies map comes out hopefully in
I
20
was
days.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, in this Call of Duty, it seems they launched like without zombies being fucking finished.
Well, that's
That's what
yeah. Unfortunately, Treyarch had to make it. And, you know,
I know, and they were pressured into doing it back to back, which is unfortunate. And like a lot of the big zombies YouTubers even said, like like you can absolutely tell it's not finished. Like there's no Easter egg, there's no like final boss, anything like that for this first map. Um, and just so everyone here knows, I have not bought the game. There's a very good chance I'm not going to buy the game. And what is a pretty big factor in that is how disappointing the zombies was at launch. And also just the way I've seen everything in zombies, I just don't think they did a very good job. I think they portrayed it very nicely in the like the teaser trailers and everything. But once the gameplay came out and all the people I've seen playing it and just everything about it just seems really like I just off-putting is the way I'll put it. Hopefully with the season 1 stuff, they make it a lot better. Maybe they upgrade it. But right now, zombies is a huge bomb in this new Call of Duty, which means this game is solely being supported by the multiplayer, which is definitely each their own in terms of how you view it. I've seen a lot of people like Damien. He likes it a lot. Obviously, he was having fun in it. Um, I haven't played it. Don't plan on playing it. But there's a lot of people I've seen who are super disappointed in it. So I think this Call of Duty, it's definitely a 50-50 split in the community. I feel like once the season goes on, once they update it, once they change it, I think it's going to start getting more definitive on what the numbers will be. But right now, in my opinion, this Call of Duty is hurting and definitely seems like a filler game.
well, we'll go through some stats. This is the most played Call of Duty on through week 1 of all time. It has the 4th highest reviews out of the past 10 Call of Duties. Player base count is the highest it's been through week 1, and there's more hours played through week 1 than there was the first 2 weeks of Cold War. And from what I've seen, FaZe Jev, a lot of the YouTubers I watch, pros who have been doing nonstop tournaments, there's a lot of issues, but they do have fun with it. And I think the main thing that comes down is, yes, there's a lot of stuff that's broken, but it's fun. The game's fun. Yeah, that's our impressions of Vanguard. Moving on, we got Forza Horizon 5, which launched last Friday, right? I know the Ultimate Edition got it
No,
like 3 days before.
wasn't it Sunday or some shit?
No.
Has it been out since Friday?
Yeah, it's been out since Friday.
Okay, yeah, fuck.
Obviously, I think we've talked about Forza very highly. I think we gave Forza Horizon 4 like Sports Game of the Year 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, it takes place in Mexico. Obviously, the game looks stunning. I mean, I'm playing it in 1440p. I'm getting 140 frames per second. Like, the game runs smooth. You know, it's Forza. You know what you're getting with it. One thing I will say is I was talking to Cody about this is that first 2-3 days I was playing it, I couldn't play a lot of it because it's just more Forza, and I've played Forza for so long. And I know that's a little hypocritical from me playing COD, but at least COD gives you different time periods. But yeah, but I'm having fun with it. I like what they're doing. I don't know. It's not something I could put 150, 200 hours into anymore. It's a great game. It's getting crazy reviews. I mean, 10 out of 10s everywhere. It's the most played Forza on launch day ever, period. It's the best selling Forza in the first few days, almost a week here, ever of all time.
Which is
Obviously,
crazy because it's free on fucking Game Pass,
well,
and that they still got that many.
I think they're considering Game Pass into that.
Oh, they are.
Yeah, so that also
Oh.
helps. But still, I mean, that game needs a player base. And yeah, I think it's really good. I just think Forza is a game everyone can play. Even if you don't like cars, you can hop in and still have such a fun time with your friends. Because the game's not all about even though all you do is you're messing around with cars, there's so many fun game modes, there's so many fun cool things that you can do on the map, and then playing with your friends is so much fun.
Well,
So
it's
what
like Jordan. This is the first Forza he's ever played. He even said well, I'm sorry, the first Forza Horizon he's ever played. He played one of the motorsports before, and he said he's fucking addicted to this game. He loves it, and that's crazy for him being the first time he's ever done a Horizon game. I love how much he loves it, and like you said, the game modes are fucking awesome. The night it came out, or no, the day after it came out. I'm sorry. I played a bunch of the King of the Hill infected game modes in one of the stadiums, and it's a lot of fun. It is not just racing. There is fun shit to do in it, and it's incredible. I mean, the game's been great. I'm gonna back pretty much everything Damien said. It looks amazing. It plays amazing. I mean, the cars are awesome as they always are. The only critique I'm gonna give right now is because it is a new game, it just came out. The fucking game keeps crashing whenever I try to upgrade a car. So I'll get halfway through upgrading it and it closes out and I have to go back in and re-upgrade it, which is fine. I mean, I can just, do it part at a time. That's one thing that's been bothering the shit out of me. It's
it's
happened to
definitely the
Jordan too.
buggiest Forza Horizon game to come out.
Oh yeah. I mean, I never played 3 at launch, but I played 4 when it was new, but not at launch. Um, yeah, I mean, the game's great. The only thing I'm gonna say is I feel like I'm the opposite of you in terms of the first few days. I was not able to stop playing it the first few days it came out. Now that it's been out a little bit, I mean, it has been out long, but these few days I've been playing a little bit more Madden in between playing Forza. But I literally did nothing but play Forza for the first 4 days, three days. It's so good. I love it. I love having more Forza. I want to go drive around in free mode. I want to discover all the roads, hit all the boards, all of it. So that's the only thing I'm opposite on you on.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'll play it. It's just one of those questions how much will I play it?
Yeah.
And then last night, technically today when we're recording this, Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition came out. It's actually right behind me. I got all 3 games, 3 Vice City and San Andreas right there.
Nice.
I played. My fucking controller will turn off. I played 3 hours of Vice City, which was great. I think I thought the graphics were going to be a little bit better, but they're not. It looks better than the PS2 version. Don't get me wrong. It's just I thought it was going to be a little bit better, but I was playing it. Obviously, I've talked about Vice City a lot over the past coming weeks. My favorite Grand Theft Auto game of all time, and seeing that original loading screen, the music, it's so great. I think one of the lost things about Grand Theft Auto is how good the talk shows are. In Vice City, K Chat is fucking hilarious. I'm sitting there listening to this. Whenever I get in a car, I immediately turn on K Chat, and it's the funniest shit I've heard in so long. And it's so much fun. All the cheat codes work and everything still. It's so much fun. And the story is obviously, iconic for a reason. And then I played about an hour of San Andreas, and I've talked about how it's San Andreas. I mean, it's probably the most famous Grand Theft Auto game of all time. The cover art's fucking iconic. And it played really smooth. It plays like GTA 5. They changed the weapon wheel, they changed how cars feel. Feels a lot better. So
Didn't they say they're doing that for all of them?
yeah, all of them did that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because Vice City had the weapon wheel and everything, the radio station wheel, and feels good. I've had Vice City did crash on me once, but it's whatever. And I don't know if I'll play 3, maybe. But yeah, it's really fun. It's really good. It's $60, which is kind of rough, but if you like GTA, it's definitely worth the $60. All the games are great. If you have Game
Well, you
Pass,
get all 3 for 60, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Game Pass is so $20 a piece. That's not bad. That's not bad. Game Pass has San Andreas. So if you want to play the San Andreas Definitive Edition, it's on Game Pass. And then PlayStation Now has Grand Theft Auto 3. So if you want to play Vice City, which I'm surprised they put San Andreas on Game Pass because I feel like most people are playing this for San Andreas. Surprised they didn't put Vice City on Game Pass. But if you want to play with Vice City, you have to spend the $60. And Vice City is worth the $60 alone, I'm telling you. Yeah, really fun. I'll play through them and I'll beat them. And I mean, I don't really have to do a review of them because everyone knows how good they are, but I'll review them. They're short. I don't remember how long it takes to beat San Andreas or Vice City. Maybe like 20 hours or so. Maybe even shorter than that.
I watched a guy review them, and I believe he said Vice City, like, if you're one of those people who have to max out the game, like, 100% it, he said you can do Vice City in, like, 50 hours, maxing it out, and the story is, like, less than half that.
Yeah.
Something like
Story's
that.
really
Something
short.
crazy. Yeah.
And then before we get to our Marvel rankings, one last thing. Battlefield 2042 comes out in 1 p.m. my
2 hours.
time. So 2 hours. Yeah. Really excited for that.
You say 1 PM? 1 AM.
Sorry, yeah, 1 a.m. Sorry, the beer's already getting to me. Yeah, very excited for that. Me and Cody, if you have a PC, just pay the $15 and get the Premiere Pro from EA. Then you get the Ultimate Edition. You don't have to pay the $100 to play it early. And yeah, it comes out tonight. Hopefully it's good. I saw some reviews, kind of mixed. So we'll see how that is. I hope the main multiplayer is fun, and then I can't wait to play Battlefield Portal. I really can't. So Jared, will you be playing that tonight?
No.
Okay. So yeah,
Probably not.
next week we'll give our impressions of Battlefield, obviously. But
Well, actually,
Jared,
what's the difference in price between the regular and then the Pro that you guys have? Is it like 5 and 15?
how much do you pay a month?
I don't remember. I think it's like $5.99 or $6.99 or something like that.
I think I pay $15. So $10.
Can I choose to just do a month of it?
Yeah, you can do a month of it.
Maybe I'll just do a month and try it with you guys tonight, but I still have to fucking install it. So I may not still I might try it, like get it, but I wouldn't be able to play tonight.
Yeah.
It'd take too long.
Also, before we move on, Game Pass, which is great to play Forza and Halo, they have that deal again where it's $1 and you get 3 months. So you get 1 month and then 2 additional months, and that's what I did. So I get to play Halo for $1, and I got to play Forza for $1. You can't fucking beat that deal. So obviously worth it. And then if you want to play San Andreas, there you go. You can have that third game on there. There's a bunch of other great games on there. Master Chief Collection's on there. Gears of War.
Means
so.
Halo Reach, like the Halo Reach on there and everything.
Yep.
Big.
All right, Jared. It is time for our Marvel re-ranks. We're going to go from our least favorite to our favorite. Wow, you got very pale there.
I know. I'm gonna try to keep it on the far side here. Maybe that won't be as bad.
So when we go through this, it's going to be quick. We'll give some quick thoughts. We'll move on. We're not going to make this 3 hours, Jared. I'm not trying to be here for 3 hours. So obviously, Jared, let's hear it's 24 movies we've ranked. Should be 24. I have it numbered. Yes, 24.
Okay.
What's your 24th?
Okay, so I'm gonna count down my bottom ones until I'm at 24 because I have 27.
How do you have 27?
So I
You have the TV shows in there?
Yeah, I included the Disney Plus shows.
No, stop. Get those out of here. No. Marvel movies. Marvel movies. We said Marvel movies.
I can't take them out. They're too deeply ingrained. There's
You take them
reasons
out
for
and
all
then
of them.
everything goes up or down a slot. What?
Yeah, but like I put them in certain spots for a reason.
Well, Jared, you never told me to rank the shows.
Well, I thought it was implied we're doing the MCU.
But we've said on the podcast we were ranking the MCU movies. The
Uh,
movies.
I mean they're just like long movies, you
No,
know.
they're TV shows.
Give me a second. Hold on, I have to find them.
Oh, go ahead. Let's fucking hear it, I
No,
guess.
because they're all fucking scattered. I have to find them.
No, just do it. It's fine. We'll do it your way, I guess.
Fine. So 27, 26, and 25, I've got Captain Marvel, Thor the Dark World, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
You have Guardians of the Galaxy 1 that low?
Yes, I do. In 24th is Thor. What's your 24th, Damien?
Wait, you have Guardians of the Galaxy that low?
I do, yes.
How?
The first Guardians of the Galaxy is not that good to me. Great movie, but not deserving to be much higher than anything else on this list.
My 24 is Captain Marvel. I've talked very much about how my hate for Brie Larson cannot get over this movie, and I just think she's not a great actress. I think the writing for this movie is pretty subpar. It feels like an MCU Phase 1 movie, even though this came out in Phase 3 or 4, whichever one it was. And I don't know, it just doesn't do anything extraordinary. I've said this multiple times. The color palette for this movie is concrete. It is gray. And yeah, 24 is my Captain Marvel. What's your 23? What?
All right. My 23. Hold on, I'm trying to shrink this fucking box here so I can actually
I can't
see.
believe Guardians of the Galaxy is that fucking low. Are you stupid?
No, I'm perfectly sane and reasonable for my ranking. Oh,
Why?
by the way, I'm definitely recording like this from now on. This is so much nicer. I just put both our boxes on top of each other. Holy shit. Okay. So for 23, I've got Spider-Man Homecoming.
All right, I respect it.
Okay. What's your
But
23rd?
why? Why?
Oh, I like it was a good movie for the story, but that's about it. Like I just like well, the way I ranked these is I love Marvel, the MCU, whatever, like timeline in order. I like it because of what it is, like leading up to where we are now. I like all of the story, how the older movies are always referenced in the newer ones. So that whole build up, like I try to consider that less. But I'm gonna mention like I do like all these movies. There's not really any on here that I hate, other than like Captain Marvel. I have a hate with only because I feel like they did that movie incorrectly. They could have done it much better. Um, that being said, Spider-Man Homecoming, I don't love the way the villain is. Like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that they did that incorrectly, but also they had. I'm trying to think. Like, I like what the fuck whatever.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, Tom Holland. I was gonna say Tom
Basically.
Hiddleston. I like Tom Holland as this Spider-Man, but I didn't like how he developed.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like how he goes in the beginning to how he is in the end of this movie just doesn't sit right with me. So that's really all it is.
Okay.
The villain just felt not as good as it could have been.
So the way I would box this out is like 24 through 21 are just bad movies for me. I don't watch
Okay.
these movies at all. And then from like 20 up, I'll watch, and then obviously we'll break it down as we further go. My 23 is Thor: The Dark World. I I feel like this movie has a lot going for it. I think the comedy's pretty decent in this movie. It's just the story overall and Malekith as the villain just didn't work for me. It's probably got the first or second worst villain in the MCU. We'll talk about the next one at my next ranking, my next pick. But yeah, it's very boring. It has a lot of the same effects that Captain Marvel has. There's no color in this movie at all. I fucking hate when Marvel does that. And when it comes to a good superhero movie, you have to have a strong villain, a strong hero, and then a good supporting cast. And I feel like when it comes to the villain and the supporting cast, they're just not strong at all. The comedy between them is sometimes good. Like Loki and Thor, their whole thing's great, but everything else just doesn't work for me. And I think the story is really bad. So what's your next one, Jared?
So in 22, I've got What If, the fucking show. Um, the reason I ranked this as low as I did is because I don't want to rewatch the show. I don't think I'm gonna ever watch it again. It was a good watch the first time through. I liked the idea. I liked the premise. If there's a season two, I'll watch it. But the first season of What If, I'm not gonna rewatch. That's
I haven't
pretty
watched it
much
yet.
why it's so low. It is worth a watch. Absolutely worth a watch. It is great for story. But I don't think I want to watch it again unless I were to like watch it with you.
Yeah. My number 22 is Black Widow. When it comes to bad villains, this movie has a very bad villain. Well, maybe not a bad villain, just not a developed villain. And we'll keep spoilers low just in case no one's seen it. Which it's on Disney Plus now. No one, if anyone didn't know that. Finally. But I just feel like for a Black Widow movie, it didn't hit the mark. I wanted more espionage, like how they put her or portrayed her early on in the Captain America movies. I love Florence Pugh in this movie. I don't know. I just went into it and walked out really disappointed. I think Taskmaster was the biggest disappointment of this movie when Taskmaster is such a vital part in the comics and is such a cool concept. I just feel like they wasted that character in this movie. Um, I do think the endings, it was a post credit scene. I think it's interesting what they're setting up for Florence's character, obviously for future stuff. Um, quick spoiler, like where she goes to the grave, Jared. That whole
Oh,
thing's revealed.
I forgot her name. That's why I was very confused by
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, I never really liked this. I never got the hype, and obviously it didn't do really that well in theaters, and it didn't do well in reviews. But it's such a disappointment. I wanted more backstory. I wanted to go deeper into her character, and they just didn't do that for me. What's your next one?
So my next one at 21 is Ant-Man.
Correct.
Uh, this movie. So the way I'm gonna say it this way: if I were to take the both Ant-Mans, this is the worst Ant-Man. So I like the second one more. Um, Still a good movie. I really love like the specific thing I love about this movie is like the training montage, I guess, like where he's learning how to be Ant-Man. He keeps like being small with all the ants, and then like his mission where he goes to the Avengers facility. Like I like a lot of that kind of stuff. Um, it's just the villain really sucks. Like it's just another greedy guy, and I don't have a problem with that because I mean obviously it's a pretty solid like villain trope, but I just don't. He was kind of a pussy, I guess. Like he
Facts.
seemed like a big baby, who was just like, I'm gonna do it my way. It needs to be my way. Just I don't know, pussy. Um, this one is like I'll rewatch it, but it's gonna be when we re-rank the movies again. That's gonna
Right.
be that's pretty much how I'm gonna put that. Yeah. What's your 21st?
Mine is Spider-Man Homecoming. This let me preference this, okay? I have not seen this movie. Before me and Jared watched this, I haven't seen that movie in 2 years because I hate this movie. I think objectively, it's a better film than Black Widow, Thor, and Captain Marvel. But for a Spider-Man movie, this is, and I don't get the hype. This is by far the worst Spider-Man movie. What are you looking at?
Hey, we missed a movie.
No, I did Black Widow.
No, we missed Far From Home.
I have Far From Home ranked. Did you not
Huh.
watch it by yourself? Did you not finish the assignment that was assigned?
No, I watched it. I never. It's not on my list.
Oh well.
How the fuck?
While I'm speaking about Homecoming, you can put on your list.
Okay.
Listen, we've talked about it. I think Tom Holland is a bad Spider-Man. He can't carry his own film. I think a lot of the things that make Spider-Man a great character, he doesn't have. Number one being consequence. He just hasn't faced, like, to put in perspective, like in Spider-Man 2, like the whole movie is just shitting on Peter Parker. And it makes it the character more relatable. He can't pay his rent. He loses his relationship with MJ. Just nothing's going his way. And even with Andrew Garfield, his biggest consequence because of his actions was Gwen Stacy fucking died. And Tom Holland just doesn't have a consequence, even Far From Home. He's a good actor, but the Spider-Man can't carry his own movie, obviously, which is going to happen in the next one. He can't carry his own movie even then. I think the character overall is just bad. He's just bad. I don't like the direction they went. I think it's too funny when it shouldn't be. I like some of the supporting the characters like Ned. I don't like this new MJ. She's annoying as hell. As I hold a Spider-Man action figure, by the way, as I'm talking about it, I just don't care for his.
Not good enough.
Well, you know what's funny? On my desk, I have like, whenever I'm sitting here,
Battle droid.
I like to fiddle with things. Like this one, I'll just sit here and fucking like move his arms. I don't know why. And then yeah, I have 3 B2 battle droids fucking sitting here that I fiddle with.
By the way, I meant to give you my B2 battle droids I have, because I was like, right before you came, I had them out here, I had all of them laid out, and I was like cleaning shit up, and I was like, oh, I need to give these to Amy, and I boxed them up and put away and totally forgot.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't sit here and like, I just sit here and fiddle with it. I don't even like, I don't play with them. I just sit here and like just fucking move them around. But Spider-Man Homecoming is my least favorite Spider-Man movie. By far, it is terrible. Tom Holland is the worst Spider-Man and also the worst Peter Parker. I'll leave it at that. Jared, let's continue.
So we're on 20 now?
We're on 20.
Okay, so real quick, since I actually added a 28th to mine, I'm just going to go through it again. From bottom up: Captain Marvel, Thor Dark World, Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor, Spider-Man Homecoming, What If. I just said Ant-Man is my last one, so now my new 21st is Black Widow.
Okay, so go ahead and do that. We'll do back to back for you then.
So I'm going to do 21st was Black Widow. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really think of anything good or bad to say about this movie, and it just felt like it landed here. I liked it. Like, I really enjoyed the movie. I kind of didn't like the villain, but not for the same reason you didn't like it.
Yeah.
I didn't really view Taskmaster as the main villain. I viewed the fucking dude as the main villain.
Yeah, I'm just saying in general that character is disappointing.
No, and that's the thing. So me not knowing about that character, I don't really like. I'm not like, oh, they ruined it. To me, it was like, oh, he's a cool like support, or she is a cool supporting villain, whatever. What?
Taskmaster is also a guy in the comics.
Well, I didn't.
No,
know
I know. I'm not saying that towards you. I'm just saying like
in general. I get it. So that whole part, like, that doesn't bother me. I like that the Taskmaster as a supporting character. I just really liked getting a background on the Black Widow. Like, I liked the sister, I liked the parents. It was all so good because, like, there's a point in the movie, I'm not going to spoil it, but you forget who she is, and like you're like, oh, how is this happening? Like, how did she let this happen and like more or less like get in trouble? And then she pulls off one of those things that's like, oh, like she Black Widowed it, and it's really cool. So I like a lot of seeing her do those things.
I just wanted more of that. I wanted more.
I know, I want more. And it makes me sad that we're pretty much not gonna ever get another Black Widow movie unless they go further back in time to like when her and Clint hid in whatever the fuck bar mitzvah. I don't fucking remember the name of this fucking town.
Yeah, I wanted to see that too. They always talk about
so
that.
So do I. They talk about it a little bit, like, oh, this is where we hid, and so it's like, give us more. So hopefully we get a Black Widow 2 further back in time. I don't know. We need more, and hopefully they don't fuck with the villain as much in terms of that's what I meant, like the villain, the dude. Like, I didn't like him. He creeped me the fuck out, but I know that was the point of it. Yeah, pretty much it for me there. So my 20th is going to be Spider-Man Far From Home. Kind of similar to Black Widow in terms of I just felt like I should place it there. I can't believe I forgot to put it in there because I was thinking about putting it in there and like not being able to decide where, and I think I just forgot. I don't know, Spider-Man Far From Home is better than Homecoming in my opinion. That's really all I have to say about that. I love Mysterio. Holy shit, that was a great villain. I love what happened with this movie in terms of setting up the next one. I thought that was really interesting because I never thought it was going to happen. It was one of those like jaw droppers, I guess. The whole illusions thing throughout the whole movie creates a lot of good scenes and creates a lot of I guess like making Peter think more and making him like look smarter, which I think is what they're trying to do. My favorite is when he like gets hit by the train and then is on the train and then he goes and like Happy picks him up and he's like, tell me something only you would know. And like I know they're creating something funny there, but like he had to do that because he didn't know who to trust. And it really I guess that scene specifically, although it is like a funnier scene, like it makes me go, damn, like that's a like it is a good fucking scene in that movie. I really like that for the reason of like the villain is so good that he broke Spider-Man more or less. That's my 20th. What is yours?
Iron Man 2. I know. Because we watched this, I was sitting there. I wish we could. I wish we were recorded us watching. I know we talked about it multiple times while we were watching it, because like doing movie reaction would have been cool. And the whole time watching, like, man, this is like actually like fun to watch. It is fun to watch, but objectively, the movie is not great. Um, Mickey Rourke as the main villain just doesn't do it for me. Whiplash is just kind of a stupid character. I like Robert Downey Jr. and obviously his charisma is so fun to watch. I don't know. It's just out of the three Iron Man movies, like it doesn't live up to the other two, and I don't know why. And I know most people go, "Oh, Iron Man 3 is worse." I don't know, man. Iron Man 3 is really fucking fun to watch. So yeah, Iron Man 2. I think I like the end battle between the two. I think that's really good. But
Oh, and him and Rhodey team up is great.
yeah, but after that, man, like the movie's a lot of mid. Like a
Yeah.
Drake album. It's just a lot of fucking mid. One good spotlight moment, and then just a lot of trash in mid after that.
Oh, for sure.
What is your
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll move my 19th here in a second. Maybe next time we do a re-rank, because I'm sure we'll do it for like 200 or something. Maybe we can like stream us watching the movies. Like, obviously, it's gonna have to be a all right. You can join in at this time because we can't stream it on
Well,
anything.
the camera would just have to be like on us
That's
as
what I
we're
mean. So
watching.
we could literally
Yeah.
just stream our face cam. I mean, theoretically, if we had like a system where we had like we could do a drawing more or less and have a bunch of people, if they have Disney Plus accounts, they can do a watch together with us and watch them all with us. We'll schedule them for certain times. We could do something fun like that, and then after the thing, we could like stream us talking about it or something like that. And then be like, all right, well, we have our opinions on it. We're gonna go rank them now, and you'll see where it is on episode 200. Like we could definitely work something like that, and maybe we could talk about doing that because that would be something fun to do. Yeah, who knows? I think it would be really cool, like you said, like to just have our reactions while watching it because I feel like we said a lot of stuff during these movies that absolutely we've forgotten by now.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I specifically remember stuff being said when I started them when we were doing the Captain America movies. Like, I remember the first Avengers. I remember stuff being said around that time. Uh, yeah. So I'm gonna go on to 19 here. My 19th is gonna be Iron Man,
Wow, the first one. Okay.
the first one. Yes. Um, the reason for that is because I just don't like that Robert Downey Jr.
The younger one, the one that just got off of drugs and everything.
Yeah, I don't like the
Well,
Robert
first
Downey
off, drugs.
Jr. that well, no, I just don't like the Robert Downey Jr. that made that Tony Stark. Like at the end of that movie, I liked him more, but like at the beginning and through the middle of the movie, I just didn't like him. I mean, don't get me wrong, like when I go back and watch, I still fucking love it. It's still Marvel, it's still Iron Man. I love it. But I just his character development until we see him again, like the next movie he's in, which I think was Avengers before we saw him in Iron Man 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, like seeing him in Avengers and everything, like I love him there. Like he is so much better in Avengers, but in the first Iron Man, it's a rough watch for whatever reason for me. That being said, I mean it's iconic. There's so many great things about it.
Like the scene where he's like fucking Jesus and the missiles like fly past him, and
Yeah. I love his suit up scenes in this. I love like him becoming Iron Man essentially, like learning the suit,
also
you
quite
know.
dark.
Well, yeah.
Pretty
Well,
dark.
the whole oh, absolutely. But like the whole boss like or not boss fight, Christ, the whole like end fight where he's like, "How'd you solve the icing problem?" And fucking for his name is like the icing problem, and he bonks him in the head and they fall. I just it's cool as shit. Um, yeah, that's my 19th. What about you?
My 19th is Doctor Strange. I think you haven't ranked Doctor Strange yet, right? No.
Oh God, no.
Okay.
Mine is.
Okay.
I'll tell you
I,
this. You're like damn near 10 away from
well,
my Doctor
wait
Strange.
till you hear where I rank Iron Man. So, Doctor Strange, it's just my issue with this movie is how long it takes for this movie to get going. The first act just drags on for so long. And also, the main villain, who's Mad Mikkelsen, who's a phenomenal actor, they just don't give him any time to do anything. He's a pretty mediocre villain overall. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he's really like charismatic, and I like Doctor Strange as a character. I think he has a good character arc in this movie. And obviously the scene where like the city's like eating itself, and a lot of those, they're great. I think a lot of the scenes where he's like astral projecting are cool. But overall, I don't have fun watching this movie, especially that first 45 minutes. I honestly just could skip to the second act. I don't care about it. Yeah, 19.
All right. 18 for me is The Avengers.
Are you high?
Oh, dude.
You're ranking
So
Doctor Strange over the Avengers?
yes.
All right.
So the first Avengers movie is obviously a great movie, but it is not one that I want to rewatch over and over again. It isn't one that I'm be like, oh, I'm gonna watch this movie a couple times a year. A lot of these, I'd say probably either 11 and 10 up to 1 are movies that I would want to watch like a few times a year. But the first Avengers, like, here's how I view this a movie. I'll watch it and I'll enjoy it because it's a good fucking movie. But like, I'm not gonna go and seek out watching it again for multiple months unless it's one of those things like if I go and sit down on the couch and like my dad's just flipping through channels, he throws on the first Avengers. I'm gonna sit and finish it out. I'll watch it with him. It's a good fucking movie, but not one that I'm gonna sit down and go, all right, here's my popcorn, here's my drink, here's my snacks. I'm gonna watch Avengers. Like that's not. It isn't how I feel. Maybe it's because how far the MCU has come from that point. Maybe I'm just like I'm so used to how the characters have developed, how different it is, how many more superheroes there are now. But I just don't want to rewatch it over and over. I mean, going back and like watching it for the purpose of re-ranking these was great. I have not seen it since then, and I don't want to see it, at least not at the moment. But I do. I have to say about the movie itself, I do like the way that they give each of the characters enough time to have their own like spotlight in a way. Like there's certain things happen for each of them that they have time for themselves. And I mean, I know that they had the advantage of having a few of them have their own movies beforehand. Captain America, Iron Man, I believe Thor came right before Avengers as well. Am I wrong about that?
I think you did.
Was Thor? Yeah, I think Thor. Yeah, because everything's introduced that way. Yeah. So I mean, I know about half of them had their own movie, and technically the Hulk did, but fuck that. Uh, but it did a good job of keeping them all in the spotlight and doing it well, and then having Nick Fury and I forget her first name, Hill, Samantha Hill, maybe. I don't remember. Jill Hill. Who fucking
Sarah
knows?
Hill, I think.
Is it? I don't know. But yeah, Coulson. I mean, one of the saddest deaths. Who he died way too early. Should have been on for Endgame. Just saying, Coulson.
Saddest death in the
Uh,
MCU. Not gonna lie.
Honestly, one of the saddest. I cried harder at Coulson's death than I did Iron Man's. Uh,
Not
yeah, yeah.
true. Not
No, of
true.
course not. It's a joke, of course. Uh,
Pretty
like I
close
said,
though.
great movie, but I can't rewatchability on that one. So what's your 18?
Uh, Ant-Man and the Wasp is my 18. Um, I I don't enjoy. So from like 20th
I
to
don't
like
like female characters.
no. I have a well. Hold on. Well, let's see. From like 20th to like 17 is like movies that like I'll watch like maybe once a year, but I don't have fun watching them for a while, like until like the second and third acts. Once again, this movie, the villain isn't that great. I do like Paul Rudd. He's on my Madden team in Madden as well. I drafted a guy named Paul Rudd. He's also the sexiest man of the year this year. So congrats
Saw
to
that.
him. Yeah, congrats to Paul Rudd. It's
Fuck
not
yeah.
fucking
He
true.
deserves it.
Not true, but congrats to him. It's always Ryan Reynolds. It's always
I
Ryan
mean,
Reynolds.
oh, but you can't give it the same award for the same thing year after
Sure you
year.
can,
He
because
already knows
it's
it.
facts.
Yeah,
It should be on like
share the
it's
spotlight.
it should be like on a rotation. It's like Ryan Reynolds, like Chris, whatever Chris you want, Chris Hemsworth, Dwayne the Cock Johnson, and then back to Ryan Reynolds, and you're
Ryan
good.
Jennings.
Ryan Jennings, yeah.
I think maybe just give a top 10 list and like Ryan Reynolds is gonna be one. So it's really like a 2 through 10 list.
Yeah, like who's the second sexiest man on earth?
Like who are the sexiest dudes
Yeah,
behind Ryan Reynolds?
right.
Yeah. Off topic.
Yeah, I do like. I forget her real life name. I do like the Wasp. I think she is an interesting character. I feel like the first Ant-Man would have benefited from her already having powers, because I like their scenes where they're actually battling together. Like I think her name's like Angelina something.
I'm pulling it up. Just keep talking.
I love the scene where they're in the van and they're like
Oh,
shrinking.
Evangeline. That's what you're thinking.
What is it?
Hold on. I almost have it. I can't find. It's Evangeline Lilly is her fucking name.
Oh,
It's Evangeline. So you were close.
yeah. So I like the scenes or the scene where they're in that bus or that truck, whatever it's fucking called. I can't even think of it right now. Van, there we go. And they're like shrinking and enlarging stuff, so like the giant Pez dispenser and everything.
Oh
Really
yeah.
cool. There's some really cool ideas in this movie, but once again, I don't take Ant-Man seriously, and I never like when I sit down. This is definitely like the 18th movie I would want to watch out of the MCU. It's better than Doctor Strange though. I'll give him that. I think the comedy's better in this movie, and I think overall the action scenes are better than Doctor Strange. But Jared, what is your next one?
Michelle Pfeiffer is the mom. That's who I was thinking of. Sorry. Fucking number 17 is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show.
Okay. All right. My 17th is Ant-Man. Um, I like this movie a little bit more because of T.I. and the supporting cast and their role in the movie. I think they're really funny. I like the storytelling of the movie. I feel like it has a better progression than Ant-Man and the Wasp. Like it has a better pacing in the movie. Although the first 20 minutes is rough to get through. I think the final battle of Ant-Man is fantastic. It's such a cool, unique idea how they're battling on like a Thomas the Tank Engine, and like the cool shots where like the train, like they're battling out and the train like crashes into something and it switches to like his daughter's point of view and the toy just falls. It's really cool idea. So yeah, my number 17 is Ant-Man.
My number 16 is Black Panther.
Okay, why?
Um, I don't know. I feel like I wanted to make it higher, but I feel like I just didn't like Black Panther enough to put it above the rest of the movies on my list. Here's what I'll say. 15 and 16 are interchangeable. 16 being Black Panther, 15 I'll tell you here in a minute. They could absolutely swap around and I feel like I wouldn't be hurt by moving them. Black Panther was such a good fucking movie. I love Chadwick Boseman. I love
Great actor. Yuri.
the fuck is no.
Michael B.
What is her
Jordan.
name? No, my god.
Michonne from Walking Dead.
Yes, thank you. Her. I think she's a great actress. I don't know why. Fucking drew a massive blank. I couldn't even think of The Walking Dead. That's why I just sat here and looked like a dumbass. Yeah, Black Panther, great. I really like a lot of the theme, like the music, the score. Like really good, like the
Yeah.
like it's just like a deep, good thing. M'Baku. I forget his name in real life, but
Yeah, he was
I
in
like
Us.
him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an Us. I just in Black Panther, but like every time you see M'Baku in the MCU, I just like him. He just gives me such a fun vibe coming from him. Like he's a badass. I don't know.
Yep.
The negatives of this movie, you know what? I'm just not gonna say it.
Just say it.
I don't want to say it.
Just say it.
I don't like how the community acted when it came out.
Which
I
community?
it, the MCU community. There it is. Uh, I just didn't like how it was portrayed when it came out. It put a very bad taste in my mouth, and I didn't like Black Panther for a long time for a lot of reasons. Until I sat down and watched it and just paid attention to the movie itself, and I
Not the
observed the
politics.
film
If you
and
don't
didn't
know,
let all of the outside things
yeah,
affect it.
if you don't know what Jared's talking about, there was a huge thing going on where a certain community was telling people that they should give up their tickets so that they're not taking tickets away from that certain community, which I know doesn't reflect how the entire community felt. But of course, a small proportion has a loud voice and was spewing bullshit like that.
Well, and also there were instances where people that were not from that community were being physically harmed and even killed because they wanted to watch this movie because they weren't from that community. And that it didn't sit right with me. I did end up seeing it in theaters, and there was nothing happened where I saw it, but there was a lot of stuff in the news, and I was very skeptical for a long
Yeah.
time. And like I said, put a bad taste in my mouth for a while, but my love for Chadwick Boseman and now this movie has outgrown that.
So my
Yeah,
16th is Iron Man 3. And it's a common theme in MCU movies how bad the villains are near the bottom. But I will say this: Robert Downey Jr. I think this is his best performance as Iron Man in the whole MCU. I think the action scenes are phenomenal, especially the final act where all his suits come out and they're flying around. He's jumping between suits. Um, I think his girlfriend, I forget her real life name.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow, yes. I think she has a really cool character arc. It's kind of stupid that she got like a weird superpower at the end that they never brought back up in the MCU. Um,
I'm mad at you because of what you just said, but continue.
what do you mean?
So the weird superpower she got, he's at the end of the movie, he even goes, "I can probably fix this." He goes, "I
That's
almost did it
right.
while
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like blackout drunk at a
Yeah, that's
whatever."
right. Never mind.
So like I'm only a little upset because I get it. A normie like you who doesn't care about the MCU is gonna rank this great
A
movie
normie.
so low.
Oh wow, I know.
I get you wouldn't
Mr.
remember such
Guardians
a
of the
and
Galaxy at fucking like
yeah,
24.
it deserves that
Okay.
spot. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is superior to the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Just saying it right now
I think
in
the
every way.
comedy's good in this movie. Sorry about the whole superpower thing. I'll take that off as a negative. Um, yeah, I think it's a really solid movie. From here on out, I think the movies are really solid. Um, but yeah, what's your next one, Jared?
My next one at number 15 is Iron Man 2.
Okay, why?
Uh, I don't particularly find anything too bad about this movie other than, like you said, the villain. But not whatever the whip guy,
Whiplash,
not
yeah,
him, Whiplash. I don't really have too much wrong with him. It's the fucking Hammer or Hammer Industries, whatever.
yeah.
He's I don't like him. I just don't think his character is very good. He just talks so not nice. I just don't like his voice. He just like it's just like long
I think
and
that's the
drawn
point of his
out.
character.
Well, if that's his character, then he does it fucking great. But if that's how he talks in person, I don't like it. If that's real
Yeah,
life words, not good.
real life work.
But I don't know. So Iron Man 2, good. I just the whole unfortunately, this is a theme when it comes to Iron Man being involved, but like the stealing the technology, trying to something involved with fuck you, Tony Stark. That's it's rough.
Yeah, it was just overplayed.
It definitely is overplayed, but like this, I feel like it really started hardcore here, which is why I think I'm ranking it so low, is because it's like, oh, this is where it originated, the fuck you, Tony Stark kind of thing. So other than that, a great movie. I like we talked about like the end fight scene, like him and Rhodey fighting. Like I like their friendship. It's good. So what's your 15?
You're gonna hate me for this one because I know you're gonna have this one highly ranked. My number 15 is Shang Chi. Um,
Shang-Chi.
yeah, I'm white. Shang Chi. So obviously, no spoilers. It's still out in theaters. I won't spoil the movie for you.
No, it's not.
It is still in theaters.
Oh, it's not the theaters near me. What the fuck? I would see it again.
Listen, I'd like to point this out. It's great that we're getting some Asian inclusion in a film. Okay, that's not my point. Okay, I just feel like because of that, this movie was very overhyped and people got in their way a little bit. I like the main character. I think he's a solid hero, but he's not the best. And I feel like for a beginner movie, it's a really solid start. I think a lot of the action scenes are pretty dope. Obviously, they have influence from Japanese culture or Chinese filmmaking. Um, it's just, everything else about the movie is just kind of meh. The villain, meh, kind of mid to average, to be honest with you. And I think the writing's not super strong. And I feel like people who rank this 10 or above, they're they're in their own way. The movie is not top 10 at all. You can't put this movie top 10 because it doesn't deserve that. Based on the directing and writing alone, it's not a top 10 Marvel movie. That's my thoughts on Shang-Chi. What's yours?
So my number 14. Actually, before I say my number 14, I need to say what
Are
I'm
you
about
on
to say
15?
before. No, I just gave my 15.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Before I go on, I need to say this before I forget it, and uh, this might be a bit controversial, so give me a bit of a break here. Um, Ever since Endgame, other than Black Widow, yeah, well, Black Widow, and I guess technically Far From Home since it came out after, but like the movies we've had since Endgame, it feels like they've been doing a lot more of these like the big bad is potentially world ending. Like it's not like a oh like I want revenge or oh like I'm gonna do this like I guess fuck another thing of like even Black Widow kind of has a world ending type thing, but like in its own way. Like it's not really world
Yeah.
ending. It's just more
World
like
altering.
it's like Russian's version of or Russia's version of world ending, world altering. Yeah, like you're saying.
I want more
Uh,
vodka. Oh no.
my point here is since Endgame, obviously Endgame was like on a universal scale, fucking bad shit, and then renewed and all that. We have a lot of this like I think right now Marvel thinks that if they're not making the villains like capable of ending the world or doing something dramatic to change humanity forever, that like Marvel thinks that we as the fan base aren't going to like it.
Which is a
So I
mistake.
am what's that?
Which is a mistake because it's not how it is.
Yeah. No, it is a mistake and I am concerned that going forward not every Marvel movie coming out until the next Avengers, but like every other or every one in three is going to be like, oh my God, this person or thing could blow up planet Earth. What do? And it's going to be like, oh, do this.
Well, I think Eternals, even though we haven't seen it, from what I was reading, also has like some pretty like. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I forgot
Well,
that
I
movie
know
even
you
came
haven't
out. To
seen
be
it.
honest,
So I am not ranking it, but I am
right?
talking about at the end. And I'm going to give an idea of where I'd place it. But
I
that's why I'm saying this is because no
Yeah.
spoilers. But based on the name of the movie Eternals, you kind of know what's going on
Well, that
there.
was gonna be my point. Like, Eternal seems to be on that big galactic kind of scale. Um, and I
Well, you
appreciate.
have
Go ahead. You have
I was gonna say,
Galactus and
well,
everything.
I don't know if it's Galactus, but like in the fucking trailers, you see one of these big, like bad. So like that's
Yeah,
why I'm comfortable saying
yeah.
these things. But continue.
I appreciate Shang-Chi for it being on a smaller scale. I just don't think the writing, well, in a smaller scale than most Marvel movies. I just
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, still like the whole premise was if this gets in
Right,
the real world, it's world ending. But like
right.
you're right, it's smaller scale.
I just don't think the writing and directing's as sharp as the movies above it. That's
Yeah.
so what's your next one?
So 14 was WandaVision.
That show's so good though.
It's a great show, but that's the
So good.
thing. That's what I had to sit here and debate was why and where do I want to put some of these shows? And it sucks that we're not both doing it, but I put WandaVision at 14th just because the stuff above it is something I want to watch more of, but WandaVision, like I'll watch it again, but now that I know what happened in the show, it's not going to be as good.
Fair.
like the thrill of the surprise for the first time through. So that's kind of like a lot of the shows for me. Like if I watch again, it's just to remember stuff, but it's like I know all the big shit that happened. So yeah, that's my 14. What's yours?
My 14 is Thor. Um, I think it's a
Damn.
really, yeah, I think it's a really solid introductory for Thor, who, if you really break it down, he's kind of a basic character, right? He's a guy who can fly, well, fly because of his hammer, but he just hits people with hammer and lightning, right? I think Chris Hemsworth is the perfect casting for this guy. I think besides Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, I think Chris Hemsworth's the perfect casted character, like second, and then Chris Evans third. Okay, like because with Captain America, you sit there and you're like, I don't know if I could see anyone being better than Chris Evans, but like there's a possibility. But with
Yeah.
Thor, I don't see anyone outdoing him at that role, right? Um,
Yeah. Well, I have to throw this in here just since we're talking about it. I feel like Hawkeye could not have been casted better.
yeah, I mean he's probably up there. Yeah.
Jeremy Renner is without a doubt, he's Hawkeye. Nobody could do that better than him.
Oh, you're
He
right.
has the charisma. So I just wanted to add that in there.
Yeah.
Continue.
Um, I like the world building that this does. Obviously, this is the introductory of Loki. The second, well, a lot of people's eyes, the best villain in the MCU. Even though towards the end he's not a villain. Um, he's one of my favorite characters in the MCU. He's fantastic.
Best character development.
Yeah, and I think the action's cool. I love the fish out of water sequences, like when he's down in Earth and he's talking to Jane, and all he's going back and forth like how they do things, and there's this movie does comedy. I wish more Marvel movies would do comedy. It's in there. It's not the whole movie, but when it's done, when they do it, it's really funny. Unlike some Marvel movies, let's say like I don't know, Spider-Man Homecoming, where the comedy's always at the forefront of the film. Everything turns into a joke, and then it's not as funny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Thor's my number 14.
Cool. My number 13 is going to be Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay, wow, you have it pretty high.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
probably, I mean, roughly half, I would say, just only because I've added shit in and with the shows. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I just really like it. That was
that was
so
a
I
movie right
watched
before Endgame.
right before Infinity War.
Yes, because they disappear. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So this one was the last one I watched, like up on the TV. Rachel and I kind of watched it. She said she watched it, but I think she was on her phone for part of it. And I just forgot how fun of a movie it is to watch. It's I know a lot of people were like, I don't want to say disappointed, but like they weren't happy that this was the last movie before we got Infinity War. I think it's a great lead up because you've got this like quirky, like a lot of jokes and shit are thrown in there, and it's like a fun movie to watch. And you've got Paul Rudd, who is like he's comedic, like
Oh
that's his
yeah.
character. Like he's definitely like a bright, shining light in dark times, which we see in the movies following after this. Uh, but I just think that like even though it is a serious situation and there's important stuff happening, like it isn't a world-ending thing. It's they want to save like mom, fucking Janet Van Dyne, and other people want to steal the technology, which is pretty similarly themed to the first one in terms of stealing technology, which I don't have a problem with. And the big bad is like it turns out to be someone who's just really desperate, and so like they can kind of help save this person, which I like a villain that has a chance to change for the better or is willing to under certain circumstances. But it to me is a fresh, good movie before you get into some dark shit, like immediately dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because think about this: if we don't count the end credit scenes, the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp is essentially mom comes home, everyone's happy, and then the beginning of Infinity War, again, not including the end credit scenes, is fucking Thanos killing like half of the fucking Asgardians, snapping Loki's neck, and beating the shit out of Thor or Hulk and Thor and leaving Thor to float in space. Oh, and killing Heimdall. I mean, like it's a fucking cool shit leads to really tough, bad, horrible shit. So it's to me, it is a great movie for that reason. Um, I don't really have a lot wrong with this movie. Um, Other than it takes a lot of stuff from the first Ant-Man, but like I said, that's not a huge thing to me.
Right.
So yeah, what's your 13?
Far From Home. Um,
Wow.
yeah. I watched this movie last week, and listen, I'm not ranking it this high for Spider-Man. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was ranking it based off Spider-Man, it'd be underneath Captain Marvel. I think what I do like about this movie is I do like the action sequences. I do think they're really cool. I like the setup of the movie, and when I talk about that is how Mysterio or Jake Gyllenhaal portrays himself as this hero. And obviously, when you're watching it the whole time, you're like, it's Mysterio. We know he's lying. But I think they do a very good job of establishing him as a good guy. He comes off so well. And I just like the way they explained how Mysterio does things. I don't care or that it's another Tony Stark stole my idea or Tony Stark did this thing. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal is a top 4 villain in the MCU easily. I mean, this guy, his motivations are correct. His scenes, when Jake Gyllenhaal is on the screen, he steals the show, no matter who he's on with. I love the ending where, he once again fakes his death, or if you think he's dead, whatever, and reveals to the world, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. And it's a really good moment, right? Because Peter thinks he won, he gets off clean, and then obviously he's portrayed as this killer. I'll say this about the movie, my cons that I have such a hard time getting past. Once again, this whole movie revolves around, I forget the term that they call it in movies, but there's like an object that you're trying to get the whole time, right? Think of like Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The whole time they're looking for that one object for half the movie, right? God, I forget what the fucking term is. Anyways, this whole movie basically revolves around fucking glasses that control Earth's defense systems. And my biggest issue is that Peter the whole time is whining like a little bitch, saying, "Oh, I don't want to be Spider-Man. I just want to go chill with my friends." Like, dog, that's not how it is. You have fucking powers. Tony showed you the way. You were supposed to, like, it would have been perfect. You saw how Tony did it and you went, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to be Tony, but I also realized I have to be there. And then it also contradicts how he felt in Homecoming, because in Homecoming, the whole time, he's like, I just want to be here for the little guy. And then now he's like, fuck the little guy. I just want to go get some pussy from MJ. And so he gives up the glasses to Mysterio, who he just met. He gave the most powerful glasses in the fucking world to a guy he just met, who he doesn't know his real intentions. And it bothers me so bad. I also hate how they changed the suit fucking 3 times in the movie, 4 times actually. Like, I hate that this is the first time we see him swing around New York City, and it's at the end of the movie. I mean, there's a little part in the beginning. Other than that, I feel like it's directed pretty well. I think the writing's pretty nice. I think the comedy's better than Homecoming. But Jake Gyllenhaal really saves this movie for me, I'll be honest.
I have to play devil's advocate here. So you're saying like he wants to like, I don't want to be Spider-Man. I want to go run off and be with my friends. It isn't just fuck. I don't want to be Spider-Man anymore. Like there's a reason behind this, and like even though I don't like this movie, the reason he gives I do think is a decent reason. Uh, he just got back from being dead.
Yeah.
From being blipped.
And you would think
he got his ass kicked in the Infinity War. He was gone in an Endgame. He fucking fought his ass off to save the world in Endgame, and he fucking lost Tony Stark. Like all this shit happened, and he's what, fucking 14 in this? Like he's not very old.
Well,
he wants
17.
To have he was 17. Fuck you. He wants to have a little bit of a life, and I can't fucking blame him. Like if I were in his shoes, like I would be like, yeah, like I kind of want to break since this shit just happened. But like at the same time, I don't disagree with you in the fact like he needs to pony up and go be Spider-Man.
My thing is, like,
it is strange with everything, the circumstances of the movie. That's not the real Nick Fury. You don't have any help coming from any of the other heroes, which there are plenty of, by the way. So it's a situation that, in my opinion, the story isn't strong enough to support everything that's like happening, the reasons behind everything. So that
I
I just had to play devil's
Yeah,
advocate behind the fact that, he is a kid, he does want to experience being a kid, and it's one
right.
of those, it's that Spider-Man dilemma. Like, does he want to be Spider-Man, or does he want to be a person?
You were
Which
also
I
a
feel like
kid
they've done in a lot of them.
who came back to life and helped
5 years
save
later.
the galaxy. Basically, there's no normalcy after that, and especially after your mentor dies and died for you to live and to basically carry his mantle. And he gave you the glasses to carry his mantle. He's like, here, you're next. This is on you now. You don't get to sit there and go, but pussy, Robert Downey. No, 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 no. You have the world on your shoulders. Fucking be a man. Be a man. And
But that's the point, to have
no,
the
no,
world on your
no,
shoulders
no.
at 17.
Yeah, well,
Damien,
you know what?
they don't let people you don't get to drink until 21 in this fucking country. You don't get to be a legal adult until 18 in this fucking country.
Well,
He's
I
from
also can't
America
fucking
in
shoot
this.
webs out of my wrist, and I can't climb fucking walls.
Neither can
It
he. He
doesn't
makes
matter.
it, you fucking dick.
Well, that's true. Well, I know. Well,
Well,
it's still on his wrist. Whatever. Anyways, I also don't have superhuman strength. I also didn't die for 5 years, come back and save the fucking galaxy with every other superhero on planet Earth. This isn't a situation where it's like, oh, well, I'm 17. No, you're a superhero at 17 who has been given all this fucking responsibility, and you're supposed to handle it. And I'm not trying to get cheesy here, but with great power comes great responsibility. So, it's whatever. Let's move on. Let's move on.
but here's one last thing. Like, he hasn't been Spider-Man very long in this. That's shown in Civil War when, like, Robert Downey Jr. or I'm sorry,
Well,
Tony Stark shows up.
he was
He had
Spider-Man for
been
a year at that, or 6 months at that point.
Yeah, but, like, that's not a long time. Like, he hasn't had the experience like other Spider-Men have had.
He had 5 years up to Infinity War.
No, he was gone.
No, 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 up to Infinity War. Or 4
No,
years.
there wasn't 5 years between
4 years.
Civil War and Infinity War.
Civil War came out in 2016.
Okay.
Or wait, hold on, let me pull it up. Let me just make sure. Hold on.
There's 5 years between Infinity War and Endgame.
Hold on. So 2016, and then Homecoming came out in 2017, I think. Hold on. Yeah,
And then
2017.
Infinity War was like 2018,
Infinity War was
maybe 2019.
April 27. Okay. Anyways, so let's just say 3 years. 3 years is a long time. And he had his own personal fucking experience in Homecoming. He understood
But
that.
that means he started being Spider-Man at 14, my man.
Doesn't fucking matter. The whole
It
world
kind of does.
Jared,
He's
listen.
barely a teenager at that point.
Jared, listen, man. If I was 14 and I fucking like killed someone, I think I'm gonna grow up real fast. Like, I feel like based on your
I don't
situations,
disagree with that.
you grow up fast, right? People are going to die if he doesn't grow up. And if he just stopped caring about pussy for 2 seconds, he would solve that. Oh, I would just like to point out before we move on, the worst scene in this movie is when he jumps out of the bus and he like accidentally shoots a missile at his friend. Well, Flash, the bully. That whole scene's stupid because, Jared, this is how motion works, right? So bus moving along, he jumps up. You would think that he would come back down. The bus wouldn't be there. No, 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 no. He goes back in the bus even though the bus is moving forward. Just saying. It's a small little nitpick. Fucking hate that guy. My God. You know what? I changed my rankings. Far From Home is not 13th anymore. It's 14th.
Nope. Gyllenhaal saved it, like you said.
I do love
All right.
Gyllenhaal.
12 for me is Loki, the TV show.
Wow, okay.
I loved that fucking show.
I thought it'd be higher.
It was really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everything after this I thought was very hard to rank. Loki was like, I had to put it in 12 because there had to be a 12. Everything else is just, I had a hard time ranking it after this.
Isn't it crazy that Loki gets more development time than Spider-Man?
It is, and well deserved. Loki's a great character.
Like
I will
Tom
say
Holland.
the reason I would put this, because like from here up to 1, like I said, it's a hard ranking. Like, these are like I had to pick what I liked more, and I just moved it on a number or two. So these are all very, very close from here on out. I had to put Loki this low because the few first episodes had me thinking the show was going to be ass, and then by the sixth episode, I could have been crying by how good it was. Uh, I'm absolutely thrilled for Loki season two. Uh, if I had to rewatch Loki like tonight, I think I would, and I would have a good time doing it. It is a great show, even though I know everything now. It is still so good
Yeah, besides
that it
first
would be able to.
episode.
Well, I mean, yeah, but going back, you'd be able to see more stuff and understand it. So it's either way. 12 absolutely deserves it. So what's your 12th?
My 12 is Black Panther. Um, Black
Fair enough.
Panther. You'll see this in my rankings. I like strong villains. Black Panther has a great villain in Michael B. Jordan, who actually has a good motive. What are you? What's that face? What's that face?
Continue.
What was that face?
He's a shit villain. Continue.
No, he's not. I like the world building of this. I do like the tribes. Like,
Hey, Auntie.
you're too white to do that. Sorry. Um, yeah. Uh, but maybe I like the supporting cast. I like Shuri. Michael B. Jordan's a great villain. Don't listen to Jared. Everyone knows he is. He's also a great actor. And Chadwick Boseman, obviously, like he's another guy. I don't know who I could see as a different Black Panther, to be honest with you. Like I think really killed that role. Even
Will
though we're
Smith.
well, no, shut your mouth. No. Um,
That's a joke.
but it's really sad that he's gone. Let's get to my gripes of this movie. I think the CGI is so bad. We've talked about this before, so I won't harp on it. The CGI is just god awful. And I also don't like that he cheated his way back to getting the Black Panther role. He lost the fight. He doesn't get the right to get his shit back and then fight him again. No.
No. Here's what I gotta say. When I rewatched it, when you talk about the first time, I'm like, yeah, that is kind of bullshit. When I rewatched it, it's totally fair.
No.
Technically speaking, no. If you want to get technical, all right. He even says it. I did not yield, and as you can see, I am very much alive. Fair game, dog. Let's go.
But the first battle, he didn't like Michael B. Jordan didn't eat the flower. He didn't have the powers. It was just a man-to-man battle. That's fair. And then you know what happened?
They both have the flower, and now it's a man-to-man battle.
No, it's not. It's different because
yes, it is.
No, Michael B. Jordan won the fight.
Ooh. No, he didn't.
He threw him off a fucking waterfall. He's basically dead.
Yeah, and he didn't fucking die.
Crown. They gave him the crown. Anyways, other than that,
falsely.
Besides his cheating, it's a pretty solid movie. I think also the score, like Jared said, is really solid as well. If only the final battle wasn't so bad because of the CGI. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I just have to say I've never seen the CGI in this movie being that bad. I'll give you this. In Shang-Chi, there was some bad CGI in the beginning, but in Black Panther, I've never seen the bad CGI.
Jared,
I really
when
have.
we watched the movie, I literally pointed out to you, went, yeah, that's not pretty good. You said
I don't remember it.
It's literally when they're in the train, or not in the train, but when they're fighting around like that train that comes through, whatever you want to call it. That CGI is really bad.
All right. Well, next time we watch it, you can point it out again, and I'll fucking forget about it after.
Yeah. Continue.
You're fucking wrong, by the way. Like you talking about Black Panther just there makes me want to pull up higher in my list, like badly, honestly. But I'm not gonna.
I would just like to say, I have more minorities higher up on my list than Jared. What does that say about me?
No, you don't.
Yeah,
just wait.
I have Black Panther higher than you. I had Black Widow higher than you.
Black Widow's not a fucking minority just because there's black in it.
Well, women, you're not a minority, but like they're not minority because they're the majority of people, but still oppressed people. Should I say that?
All right, my number 11 is Doctor Strange.
Why?
Because Doctor Strange is fan-fucking-tastic. I love seeing where a character starts before they turn into something awesome, like he has and is. It's a great fucking movie. There is pretty much nothing about this movie that I find horrible, other than there is a bit of a slow start. I can't disagree with Damien on that one. But like once it starts, it's great. There is not a point in that movie where I want to look away. And for whatever reason, I don't remember why but when I first, well, not first, but like one of the second or third times I watched this movie, I watched it with the guys they play D&D with, and we always made a joke about the sling rings. So we would always sit there and just like put the hand up and just do one of these, just for shits and giggles. It was really funny. It was a meme for a long time. Like it wasn't anything that we did like in public. It was just like whenever it happened on screen, we would all go, "Oh, it's the sling ring," and then we would do that for a second. It was fucking hilarious. I don't know why. I like my dad was involved in it. It was a whole thing. It was hilarious. But that's my number 11. What's yours?
Uh, the Avengers. Um,
Ugh, that's way too high on this list.
so I feel like the Avengers is a really solid introduction into the Avengers. Oh, Jared, it's a sling ring. Hold on. Did I get the joke? Did I do it? Cool. Um,
Was that? I'm sorry. Were you? Was that like an attempt at comedy or something?
that was just me mocking you.
The
So
Avengers didn't have a sling ring in it, dipshit.
I know it didn't, dipshit. I was just making fun of you, asshole. Anyways,
Oh well, you're bad at it, nerd.
as the one who was watching Doctor Strange with his D&D buddies.
Yeah, I'm sorry
Nerd.
that we have a good time.
Nerd. Anyways, let me talk about my ranking, okay?
Why? It's bad. Don't have to talk about
Agent
it. Next.
Coulson, great character. I think Black Widow has the best introduction in this movie by far. Um, where she's on the plane and she's on the phone. She's like, the way she just had the comedy going back and forth.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
That's not the first time we've met her, and she's also not in a fucking plane.
And in the Avengers, or she's in like a
Yeah,
warehouse thing, isn't she?
yeah, she's in some random
Yeah,
fucking warehouse.
sorry.
But we
I
see
know
her
I
in
know she was in other
Iron
movies.
Man 2.
I'm talking about for the fucking film, Jared. It's an
Oh, I thought you meant.
introduction in the film, you fucking
Oh,
idiot. Jesus
I thought you meant
Christ.
introduction of that character, like first time
No.
seeing her.
No. Jesus Christ. Can you let me get my point out? God, she has the best
You done
introduction
yelling?
for the movie out of any of the characters. I like how there's like this horror-esque feel with the Hulk and how scared everyone is of the Hulk. I think that's really cool. I think the banter between Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America is also funny. Obviously, I feel like Thor takes a back seat in this movie a lot because obviously he wasn't the star of the show. I like Loki. I think the scene where Black Widow outsmarts him and gets what or gets from him what he wants to do next. That whole scene's very brilliant. And I think the ending is like the ending battle scenes are great. I think first off, cool that was filmed in Cleveland. That's a cool little tidbit.
Oh yeah, I always forget about that.
And second off, I just think that whole last act is like perfect superhero cinematography and scene building. So yeah. And also when Hulk fucking grabs Loki and is fucking slamming him back and forth. That's great.
Unigod.
Yeah. Sorry I had to yell at you
Yeah.
there. I just got a little heated.
Oh, clearly. Number 10 for me is Avengers Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Like I said before, it's at this point it is a nitpick. Like I just had to put it in where I wanted it. It's one of my favorite movies. But there are movies above it that I like more than that. I like Avengers Age of Ultron. I will rewatch this one. I love Ultron as a villain, as a character. I love the introduction of twins,
Yep.
Maximoff twins. Sorry, I can't remember the fucking name. The whole premise that they've been hunting down the Hydra thing ever since everything happened after Winter Soldier. It's a fucking fantastic movie. I have very little wrong with this movie. Um, the only thing I will say is if we ever get like in an extended cut, it'd be awesome to see more of the Hydra hunting from the Avengers. I would love to see them going through other bases and fighting them and like taking stuff out. Like maybe splitting up so we see a little bit of Hawkeye and Black Widow working together, or just like who knows, something like that. I just every time I see this movie and there's that beginning scene, it makes me think of that, and I want more of that. It's just, are we ever gonna get it? Like, where's the market? Who knows? But yeah, Age of Ultron, great fucking movie. So what's your number 10?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is my number 10. Obviously, our boy dying at the end is it's very heartfelt. When we were watching that again, I'm like, am I about to cry again, dude? Like, what the fuck's going on?
It's like
Uh,
rough.
I don't think it's better than the first one, which we'll get to the first one later on my ranking. I just feel like the action's not as tight. I don't think is his name what's his name? Igor? Isn't that his name? The dad. What's his name?
Oh, ego.
Ego. Yeah. I just don't think he's really solid as a character. It's cool that he's Kurt Russell, but like overall as a villain, don't really care. I do like the idea that he killed his mother, and that gives Chris Pratt or Star Lord like a good character transformation and go, hey, oh, now I gotta kill you. Um, Drax is like the best character in this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. I fucking love Drax. Other than that, it's very good. It's just not as tight as the first one. That's my number 10.
All right, well, going into number 9, I have Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Nice.
I'm not going to keep repeating it, but like I said, these movies are all very close. I had to pick. I love Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I would put it higher if there weren't as many movies like that I like more above it. That's pretty much all I'm going to say.
That's how rankings work.
That's exactly how rankings work. I like when I look at Guardians of the Galaxy 2, it feels wrong that it's in 9th. That's the only reason I say that for this one, because I want to make it higher, but like I just like these other ones more.
Yeah.
It sucks. There's too many of them, I guess.
There is too many.
You know what's crazy is eventually Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna be like, in my top 10 out of like there'd be like 50, 60 movies at some point, man. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I fucking love it. Like we talked about, with Yondu. Wow, almost lost that name. When he like dies at the end and everything, it's sad. And I mean, when everything happens with the other Ravager clans, I think is what they're called, Ravager clans, Ravager groups. It's heartfelt. I mean, like it's hard not to like get emotional at that scene. The only thing that like takes me out of that is when Chris Pratt is sitting there holding baby Groot, and it's just so clearly not right. Like his hand is sitting here and baby Groot's like out here. Like it's so clear that he was like, all right, put your hand there, we're gonna animate him in later. Like that's the only thing that takes me out of that for whatever reason. It's a little nitpick, but um I really like everything about it. Obviously, when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy, the score it's fucking fantastic. The music from the second one, I feel like there's less songs maybe, but like I like them more than the ones from the first one. Matter of fact, one of the songs that's on there I've listened to a couple days in a row now, not intentionally. I just have it on my playlist and it's happened to come up. It's The Chain by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh god, I hate Fleetwood Mac with a burning passion.
But that's a fantastic song. Oh,
I just don't like Fleetwood Mac.
that makes me sad. That's a really good song. Anyway, uh I love the movie. I like all the characters. I love the character development from the first one. I feel like the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 feel better than they did in the first one. But that's just because there's more development, obviously. I'm not saying that they're bad characters in the first one, just like more in the second one. But that's my number 9. What's yours?
Mine is Avengers Age of Ultron. I love yeah, but bouncing off one another.
This close. We were this close.
I
the
like
verge of greatness.
I think the scenes that I think made me like that stand out for me is when they get under that trance from Wanda and they're like experiencing their like their trauma or their hell, whatever, their worst nightmares, right? And them having to like come out of that and like they know what happened, but like they still have to deal with the impact of seeing all of that. That's really good. I think the final battle isn't as good as the first one, but I think it does a good enough job. I just think the comedy and the camaraderie out of the group is just overall better than the first Avengers, obviously because they become more friends, so it's just a natural progression. I like the small moments, like when they're trying to lift up Thor's hammer, and then just like when they're in that giant battle, just the small talk between them. I just think it really works really well. Like where Hawkeye's like, I'm sitting here with the bow and arrow shooting fucking whatever. It doesn't make sense. Like it's just small moments like that.
To Wanda.
Yeah, it's just small moments like that. And I like the moment where he like pulls the bow back. He's like, I could do it, and no one would even know. Like, there's just I don't know. There hasn't been moments like that since. Um, yeah, Avengers: Age of Ultron for me.
I love like right after that when he says, "I could do it, nobody would even know." And he goes and he's like talking to himself like, "Oh, has anyone seen this guy?" He's like, "Oh, I don't know. Last time I saw
Yeah.
him, Ultron was sitting on him."
Yep.
That's it is. It's so good. Um, God damn, it makes me want to watch it again. All right, my number 8 is gonna be Captain America: Civil War.
Okay. Why?
I'm trying to think. It's a fucking good movie. I like the introduction of Black Panther. That
Do you know the
like
way?
hit his whole introduction and like with everything that happens with his dad and everything at the Sokovia Accords meeting thing. It's all just it feels obviously it's terrible, but it feels good to watch. Like I like the development there. I like how he turns into the king and like it's a huge moment, but it's so underplayed from like the rest of the world's perspective. Like it isn't that big of a deal, but it's fucking huge for the MCU timeline, obviously. And Bucky, when it comes to his character development, and I know I've talked about this before, I believe we've talked about it in the podcast. If not, I've talked to you about it. Um, Bucky's character development through the entirety of the MCU, he's probably one of my favorite characters in terms of where he started to where he is now, because he's so dramatically different. Like the Bucky from the first Captain America is he's super like energetic, super happy, like
He's
charismatic, like just
brash, stuff
he
like that.
seems but he just like has a smile on his face most of the time. Then you go to him being fucking the Winter Soldier, which is obviously a much different experience. But even now, like he isn't the Winter Soldier anymore. He's Bucky again, but like he isn't smiling anymore. He's not particularly happy. It's always just like a like one of these like one of those faces. And like it's clear that there's a lot that's happening. And like he isn't smiling happy anymore because he got pulled out of his time. He's not in, the 40s anymore. He didn't get to live an old life. He didn't like he lost Cap. He lost all everyone he knew. He doesn't he's in the one thing he had in Captain America, like being like I know they call Captain America like the soldier from out of time or whatever. Like he was there with him, and losing that, he's even further from being okay. Like I mean, there's obviously he talks to the therapist and everything, and like the other thing is like how much he develops in this, like trying to remember. That is like this in this movie, it starts what we get in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I love. Like him wanting to remember everything, like him not knowing who he is again, or not knowing who he is again yet. I was trying to say. Just so fucking good. And obviously the ending and everything with Iron Man and Captain America fighting, and then like the whole like, oh, like, did you know? Don't shit me, Rogers. Did you know? Uh, it's too fucking good. It's in my opinion the point in the MCU where like it decided that Thanos was gonna win Infinity War because they split up here. And like in I forget which in Infinity War, I think, when fucking Banner says, "Wait, split up? You mean like the Beatles?" Like
Yeah.
it's great. It's such a good pivotal moment. I feel like personally it is a overhyped movie, but it's good. Like I can't take anything away from that. But
Yeah.
what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Thor Ragnarok. Um, I think with this movie is that Thor Ragnarok's pretty high for you, I bet, by that face. Thor Ragnarok, I really like. It takes the Marvel comedy and turns it up a notch. Which I think for this it does very well. Taika Waititi is a great director. Don't get me wrong. And I do like that they took Thor from this really like his Thor was always thought of before this movie as boring, and they turned him into how we see him now as this really funny character who's, whenever Chris Hemsworth's on the fucking stage now, he takes the show. Like he's the guy now, right? And obviously Loki, I think, is probably the best character in this movie by far. Can't forget Korg. That guy's great. Um, yeah, I like that Mark Ruffalo's in it, and he's battling his. I like how Hulk is like a god on this planet. He just destroys everything in that arena, and he's got like his own fucking huge ass suite and everything. I like that Hulk talks now like more. It has more comedy in him. The one thing I could just never get over was where I forget the character's name, the bald guy, and he has the two M4s. In that scene where he's just shooting everything on the bridge, and just the fact that he never runs out of ammo, it just bothers me.
Oh yeah.
It just
When I watched that, I thought about that too.
Whenever
Like,
I
where's
watch
your
that,
ammo?
like I honestly can't get over it. I'm like, dude, he shot like 70 rounds out of both of those things.
He's he is such a good actor.
Oh
He
yeah,
plays Bones in Star Trek. He does dude in Doom. I forget his name in Doom.
yeah,
What is his fucking name?
doesn't matter.
No, it does because I like his character a lot.
It doesn't matter.
He's called the X. Fuck me, I can't even remember his name in the movie.
I got it. I'm pulling it up right now.
He's so good.
Oh yeah, Idris Elba's in it. Jeff Goldblum's in it. Great. Carl Urban, by the way, and it's Scourge.
Scourge. I kept thinking like something with an S. It was like something. It was like S and then Executioner. Yeah, it's a great movie, man.
By the way, I can't believe you brought up Doom. Bring up Doom.
Yeah, the movie.
Yeah, I cannot. That movie's so bad.
Fuck you. I like that movie.
The movie's terrible.
You're a dick.
Sorry. Also,
fuck?
Star Trek as well.
Star Trek's good too. The fuck?
All right.
I like horror movies and Marvel. My name's Damien. All right, my number
I'm
7.
actually more of a DC fan. It seems like nowadays.
And Batman's fun.
Batman's not a superhero, but
All right. Anywho, my number 7. Are you done with Ragnarok there?
yeah, I've said all I need to say. Reload the fucking gun once in a while.
Right. 7. Captain America: The First Avenger.
Okay. Why? You can't just say and leave it hanging out there. Like you gotta give me
I can.
You gotta give me like a reason.
It's like a walk out in public with a trench coat on, just open it up and let it hang.
No, when you walk out in public with a trench coat, everyone thinks you're gonna shoot up the place.
Really? What about peeping toms or not? Flashers? It's like a thing. You open up the trench coat and there's just your dicks out.
That's where you were going with that?
Yeah, dog. What the fuck?
Well, I just feel like
I didn't say I'm gonna go to school wearing a trench coat. I said walk out into
I feel
public.
like what most people see, like whenever I see someone in public wearing a black trench coat, I think one of two things.
Why did you assume it's black? I was thinking like a nice
all
tan
trench
trench
coats are
coat.
like basically black that I've seen.
All right, I guess I should have said wear my trench coat, go into public wearing nothing else,
go.
and open it
Whenever I
up.
see someone with a trench coat, it's like, am I about to die? Like, is this what's happening right now? But continue.
Carry more often, dog. You'll be fine.
I carry whenever I leave the house, besides work.
Oh well. Anywho, Captain America: The First Avenger. It takes my okay, like top 3 favorite character in the MCU, and and shows what makes him Captain America. I mean, he's a scrawny kid from Brooklyn, turns into Captain America with the super soldier serum and all that shit. And his development, especially when you take what that is, like what happens in this movie and what it means when we hit Endgame, and they even say to Avengers, like, oh, like everything special about you came out of a lab or whatever, like whatever Tony says. And like you see it happen, but we find out later it's more than that. And I like knowing this is the origin. It shows all that. Also like history shit, like World War II. Like I know it isn't a World War II movie, but like stuff from that time period I love. And I like the way they like are able to introduce Hydra and like mix it in there like naturally enough. Red Skull, I mean, wasn't a terrible villain in my opinion. Could have maybe been a little bit better, but his motives were pretty, okay for someone who's like a Nazi but worse. So that's pretty much it. I mean, good movie. What's your number 7?
Guardians of the Galaxy, first one. Score is phenomenal. Yeah.
This is 7th, right?
Yeah.
That's Guardians of the Galaxy at 7 for you. Mine was at 26. Those are almost 20 fucking spots different.
Yeah, well, mine's correct. So I think the score is better than the second movie. I think the interactions between the Guardians of the Galaxy is better overall. I like the confrontation aspect to them. I think the comedy's better. Um, and I just think, oh, like the beginning of the movie starts off with someone's mother dying. Like that's a hard start. And then the whole pacing of the movie swaps, the whole tone of the movie swaps. I like the colors of this movie. I just love the world building of it. I think it's the third best like introductory like movie Marvel's done. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. If you want
A
to
little too
consider
high, but
one of the,
I'll give it to you.
remember that scene?
Uh,
One of those.
that's a pretty good one. And it's just like,
Yep.
oh, I'm sorry, I don't know how this machine worked.
Yep.
All right, my number 6, Avengers Endgame.
Okay. Okay.
Uh, when we've talked about Endgame before, I'm pretty sure what I'm about to say here is almost word for word what I said before. This movie is great because it is the result of every other movie on this list. Well, almost every other movie in this list, minus like maybe 4 or 5. Like everything that happens after, but everything that takes place before this, which is like fucking damn near 20 movies or so. When all of that comes together and results in what happens in this movie, that is amazing. Like years worth of build up, years worth of development, years worth of character building, of great movies. I mean, all in different levels of that greatness, but Endgame is great to me, not only for all of the things that happened in the past, which caused this to be a thing, like all of this wonderful development, but also for what they do in the movie in terms of the sacrifices. Because like some of the best lines to me are when Tony says like, you know, I can't lose what I've lost. Like I forget how exactly he says it, but like when he's talking to Cap about, is it possible? Maybe like, can do I want to get or do I want to get everyone back? Yes, absolutely. But can I do it without losing what I've gained throughout that time? I can't lose it no matter the cost. Like it's not exactly word for word there, but that's the lines hit hard because like he found his happily ever after. Like even though he lost, he was able to move on and build like the most out of it. In a family, he got away, that house in the lake in the woods, like it's perfect. He doesn't want to lose that. And the irony of that, of not wanting to lose everything he has, is he fucking does, but like not the way he thought he would. Um but that's the crazy thing to me is that's just one fucking character arc in this whole movie out of all those fucking characters in the movie. That's just the one. And a lot of them we see in movies after, but that is it hits. I mean, it was a fucking emotional
I
movie.
got chills
Trying
just
to
thinking about
watch,
the fucking scene.
right? Like just sitting there at the end, like when his hollow projection is talking, and like then you have the whole scene where it's zooming through all the people after she puts the proof that Tony Stark has a heart thing in the water. Like if you weren't sobbing, you're not a fucking MCU fan. Like there were tears in my eyes. I literally had to keep like doing this so I could still see it. And I was also holding my breath because I didn't want the people around me, including my girlfriend, to know that I was sitting there like choking up, literally.
Oh,
Um, it was too good of a movie. And like everything that happens as a result of Infinity War is it's insane. Like to think of every little aspect. Like the very beginning, well, not the very beginning, but the part right after they get a revenge on Thanos and fucking chop his head off, I went for the head. Like when they're going over, I think it was New York, and you see, yeah, it was New York, and you see like the abandoned baseball stadium, I believe Mets, right?
sure.
And there's cars stacked up, just littering the parking lot because what else you can do with all this extra shit from 50% of the population being gone? And then Captain America doing the thing, taught with one of the Russo brothers talking about their gay dating experience. Like it's
There's nothing
just
wrong with that,
so,
by the way.
oh, there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a very fun scene, but it just from start to finish, that movie is fantastic. And the only reason it doesn't sit in first place for me is because as good as it is, I have to take away some credit from its greatness because of how many movies it took to build up to this. If someone goes in never seeing any Marvel movie and watches just this, it's gonna be a good fucking movie. Like, it's gonna be a really good fucking movie, but it's not gonna be nearly as good as if they watched all the movies that come before it for a lot of reasons. Um, Avengers Endgame sits at number 6. I'll be honest with you, 5 and 6, I had a real hard time trying to decide here, but I feel like at the end, it had to be the way it is now. So that's my number 6. What is yours?
My number 6 is Captain America: Civil War. I'll kind of stay away from the points that you were making. Um, the main villain, forget his fucking name. He was in Winter Soldier and Captain America as well. Um, I like his character arc. I like the reasoning for why he did everything. Especially at the end when you find out the recording that he's listening to is his wife and like kids for the last time. Like that hits. And the fact that Black Panther doesn't let him kill himself and he's like, "No, you have to live with what you did." Like that's a good moment. My issue with this movie, which I talked about with Captain Marvel, it's not colorful. This movie's very gray. I like that. I feel like the introductory of Spider-Man was great. It gave hope for me at the time. Like I felt like this Spider-Man was like, oh, it can't get worse than this. Like this is really good. And then we got Homecoming, and I'm like, oh shit, like not as good. But
Oh, Baron Zemo. Baron
yeah,
Zemo.
Baron Zemo. Obviously the fight scene where they're at the airport is phenomenal. I like Vision and Wanda's back and forth. Like even though they love each other, even though they probably don't fully realize it yet at that point, like she has to do what's right for the team. You know, my biggest gripe with this movie is, and obviously if you've never read the comics of the Civil War, it doesn't it's not that big of a deal. I just feel like they didn't portray both sides well enough. It
Yeah,
definitely, I
with the
feel
limited
like,
time, I agree with that.
yeah, I feel like from the like the whole time, even though it's Captain America's movie, so I kind of get it. It's Captain America's side. That's the side you should choose, and that's the side that they try to make most sense of, which I understand. Hey, I'm down for freedom. Tony Stark's stuff comes a little bit from, it's a little bit of a different kind of style of government for me. I'm down for freedom. That's what I'm about, baby. But like in the Civil War comics, they spend a lot of time, like they make you feel for both sides where you're like, you know what? Like that makes sense. Um, and obviously at the end where the whole revelation to Tony that the guy sitting right next to him killed his mom and dad, like that'd be rough. I mean, I don't I don't think I would react that way because I know it wasn't him. But hey, I don't blame Tony for reacting the way he did. And obviously, that final fight between the three is great. And especially when Tony's like, "My father made you that shield. That's not yours." And Cap's like, "Here, take it."
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. It would have been interesting if they would have done like a Captain America Civil War and then Iron Man Civil War, like 2 different movies and like given us a little bit more. I feel like that would have been pretty cool if they would have found a way to split it. But
Yeah.
when you were talking about excuse me, the Wanda and Vision thing, like how she like has to do what she has to do for the greater good of the team. I immediately thought of the part where they're in the Avengers facility and like Vision's obviously about to stop them, and Wanda, like, because she knows she can, starts to overpower him, and he's like bending backwards, and his voice is getting all robotic-y, and he's like, what are you doing, or stop, or whatever he's saying. It's like you can tell it's real emotional. And then she's like getting upset and pushes him down and like down to the earth or whatever. That part, that part really got me.
Yeah.
Um, it, and it's like it's nice that later in the movie, obviously, he comes up to her and is like, I'm sorry this had to happen or whatever, and apologizes. But I wish there was a little more there. Like it was real quick to, I'm sorry. Obviously, I know that it was like a distraction. Everything that happens after that happens, and that's cool. But I had to build off of that because that is a real emotional scene, especially with like having WandaVision after that and everything.
What is your next one?
So number 5 for me, Avengers Infinity War.
Okay. Back to back.
Yeah, back to back. Infinity War is over Endgame because Infinity War it just feels like it's a better watch. I don't know how to put that
It's a
because
better
like
standalone
they're
movie.
yeah, better standalone. I can agree with that. Like I said before, like you really have to see all the other movies to understand Endgame. And that unfortunately would include Infinity War. But Infinity War is just so good because I at some point between the last time we talked about Infinity War in the podcast, like in depth, sorry, in depth, and now, for whatever reason, I remember watching a video on YouTube about a guy who talked about Thanos in Infinity War and talking about how if you were someone who knew nothing about like Marvel, you knew never read a comic book, never seen a movie, you knew nothing, and you watched Infinity War with no context, you would go into it and like you could theoretically see Thanos as the good guy and the Avengers as the bad guy. From like certain scenes, certain shots, like Thanos is this guy going through with a mission. He has an objective. He needs to get these stones. He needs to set things right. He is so set in his way of thinking that he is right and that what he's doing is good and is going to result in the greater good of everyone that he just seems like he's on the right side. Like he portrays it so hard because it's what he know like he what he believes, what he knows, that you can almost pick up that like, oh, he like has to win. And like obviously he does, but like every time you see the Avengers coming at him, like the one scene specifically is when Thor is driving Stormbreaker into Thanos' chest. He has this look of hate and disgust and anger just pushing Stormbreaker in. And like we know why. I mean, he killed Loki, he killed Heimdall. Like Thor has nobody left. But if you just watch that scene, like it looks like a big bad evil Thor is hurting innocent Thanos who just tried to do what he thought he was trying to do, like for the greater good. Um. Anyway, my point in that is, I watched this guy do this video about it, and it was a really interesting way to look at this movie because, like, in Infinity War, Thanos just seems like an unstoppable force. No matter what you do, how hard you fight, he's just there. Like he is not going to be stopped. He has the will to make it happen, and he does. And that's a really, really, really awesome fucking thing. Like the Avengers have never really been beaten. Like they've had hard fights and they've had close calls, but they've always come out on top. They've always like they do it. They're the good guys. They win. And so when they have such a dramatic loss here, it's like it fit well with the movie. It felt good to watch. Like obviously Endgame, they topped it somehow with Tony Stark dying and everything, but like it happened because of Infinity War. It's like it's just it's good. I don't know how much else to say without continuing to go on and on and on about it. It was a fucking great movie. Um, the only other thing I'll say is Thanos is probably like the best villain we've ever gotten. Uh, but not because he's like back to back, like he's in multiple movies. It's because he does it well. He has the mission. He and it's also not because he like it's such a huge scale. Like it isn't he's the best bad guy because he kills half the fucking population of the universe. No, it's because of how well he does it. Josh Brolin does a fantastic job of playing Thanos. I don't think anyone else could play Thanos the way Josh Brolin did. Like I just at all. Um it's a fucking great movie. Number 5 and it's crazy to me that I put it at 5. What's yours?
My number 5 is Endgame. Um, I mean, so many great moments. Obviously, like Captain America. Spoiler alert, by the way. Captain America, when he
This
gets
movie's been out for like a year and a half or more. What the
doesn't
fuck?
matter.
Spoiler alert.
When he finally gets to hold Thor's hammer, like that, I'll never forget that moment in history. Obviously, when Tony Stark dies, that moment's great. The moment where Captain America's standing there alone against Thanos'
Yes.
army, and all you hear is "on your left" or whatever he says, and then you just see the portals open up, and
The scene
everyone
right
comes
before the
through.
portals open, I
Yeah,
remember having that as a screensaver forever. We talked about that a lot.
yeah. By the way, just hit the 2 hour mark, so we were professionals last week or 2 weeks ago, not this week apparently.
We're
Uh,
not gonna hit 3 hours though. We're almost done.
yeah. Um, yeah. It's just I don't put it as high as Infinity War, which we'll get to for me, just because once again you can't watch this by itself. It's not. I feel like if you watch it by yourself and you didn't watch anything, it's not that great of a movie. What makes it great is because of all the payoffs of the 10, 11 years that has been building towards it, right? Um, and I feel like it's hard to make a movie with this many star characters in it, and they did a good job. But still, there's just some certain points that's just like, man, like I felt like they could have done some things better. But it's all right.
Absolutely.
What's your next one?
All right, number 4, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Okay.
So I didn't say anything earlier when you were giving it a lot of shit, but I really fucking like this movie. Um, it is in 4th place of all my Marvel movies, and it's there for a reason. I was pleasantly blown away by this movie. I went into it knowing very little about it. I went into it like I went into it with very low expectations, just because like all the trailers I'd seen, it was like, oh, okay, this looks like it's gonna be a cool Marvel movie to watch. It'll be just like a filler. It'll be like just middle of the pack, just one of those cool movies, somewhere in the middle with like Ant-Man. I don't know. And I walked out of it going, wow, like I fucking love that movie. Like from start to finish, it was just like good. Like there was not a part in that movie where I was like, that doesn't feel necessary, or I didn't like that. Everything felt like it mattered to an extent. I mean, there's always filler in movies, but the filler wasn't boring. It was always going somewhere cool or seeing something cool, cool shots. Like it was awesome. Um, the end fight is fantastic. I mean, it's probably one of the best ending like fight scenes in a movie, other than I'll say Infinity War, Endgame, and maybe Captain America, Civil War. Like those three, it's hard to top. But this one, like it's real good. I love the dragons fighting. Like I know it's silly because it's supposed to be superheroes, but that's another reason I like this movie so much, is because the MCU is all about the heroes and like never really the people around them as much. And in this one, you get a lot of all these supporting characters who are fighting, literally fighting for their lives. Not that there aren't other movies that do that, but it's like if you don't fight for your life, like your soul's gonna get sucked the fuck out. And that's it. Like you don't get it back. It's gone once that happens. Like, the snap, like they came back. Cool. Um, but it was just it just felt good watching it. The Ten Rings, it was interesting for the fact that kind of ties in with Iron Man 3 in a way, or yeah, Iron Man 3. Because the whole the fuck is his name?
Doesn't matter.
I know, I don't remember his fucking name, but the bad guy uses the 10 rings or whatever, and like defaces it. And so in Shang-Chi, they talk about that, and he goes, "Oh, some American whatever, like pretending to be me." I think they tie it together really good. It's not a lot, it's not a huge thing, it's just a little callback, and I like that little tie. Nothing, they don't focus on it too much. They don't bring like, oh, and Tony Stark did. No, fuck that. It's a quick, some asshole used my name. That's cool. I do like that there's all the build up from how old the dad is, like bringing into what happens, and like throughout the movie you find out why he changed, like why he has the kids and all that. And fucking tastic. It's a great movie. I know that some people are gonna think it's not as good, and I know that a lot of people probably didn't like it, but I really struggled to find a bad thing about this movie. I'm absolutely gonna rewatch it once it's on Disney Plus, and I would recommend you do the same, because I think everyone should give that movie a lot more of a chance than I feel like some people have. Because it's so much better than people are giving it credit for. Not just you, Damien. That's towards everybody. So that's my number 4. What is yours?
My number 4 is Iron Man. Uh, this movie is great. I know Jared said he didn't like how Robert Downey Jr. played Iron Man in this, or his character.
At the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
everything about it. I like the snarky, egotistical Tony Stark, and I feel like that makes his transformation from beginning to end better. I like the scenes where he is in the middle of nowhere and has to build his way out of nothing to fucking, like, he's
Yeah, I
trapped.
was
he
thinking
has to
Iron Man
build
3
his
when you
way
said
and
that.
build the suit to get, out of there. And unfortunately, his friend doesn't make it. That's in there with him. So that's really cool. It's a more grounded movie than a lot of MCU are. And then obviously that first time he suits up in the full Iron Man suit's dope as hell. I think the comedy is really fun, like where he's flying around his lab and he's breaking shit. Um, I think the main villain also has a really good reason for why he is doing what he is doing, why he wants Tony out, and why he wants to control everything. The arc reactor thing, hit or miss. People like it, people don't. It's just a set piece for me. And I do like, once again, this movie used horror aspects again, where like one is in that facility and she's like being chased by the bad guy, and they had some cool shots that remind me of a horror film. And yeah, obviously at the end where they're flying up and he's like, how'd you fix the freezing problem? He's like, what freezing problem? And he falls. It's really good. So yeah, my number 4 is Iron Man.
Nice. Yeah, I like the dummies in that. The fucking
Yeah.
all right, dummy, can you hold the camera?
Yep.
That's fun. Garage scene. Number 3, Captain America Winter Soldier.
Go ahead.
I know. I'm sorry, buddy.
All right.
I know it hurts. If it makes you feel any better, it was number 2
Wow.
until the movie. Yeah, Captain America Winter Soldier, it's a great fucking movie. There was a point in time where it was my number 1. As more movies have come out and as time has gone on, it is unfortunately dropped a few tiers here. Uh, it's fantastic. I mean, Winter Soldier is probably like one of the better movies in the whole franchise.
But
I
yeah,
shouldn't
'cause
say
it's ranked
probably.
3.
What's that?
Well, yeah, because it's ranked 3 for you.
Oh, I know. I was gonna say it. I mean, it is one of the better ones, but I know it isn't in everyone's eyes. From my point of view, and what I think should be everyone's point of view, it is. I understand that not everyone likes it as much. I'm gonna go back and hit on again. It's the Bucky like development. It's him coming in as Winter Soldier here, obviously. Captain America growing more, becoming a fugitive. Like the whole Shield falling apart in this movie is so good. Falcon's introduction, awesome. Natasha Romanoff, like
God, she's
with
hot in that movie.
she is, but with like Steve not sure, being sure he can trust her for a while, and then being able to. Nick Fury's fantastic in this movie as well. It's just all done really, really well. And that's including a lot of the people, like the what do they call them? Special ops team members.
Yeah.
I remember the names, but they're all great as well. It's a fucking great movie. But that's my number 3.
My number 3 is Infinity War. I mean, not much to say about it that hasn't been said already. I think the action scenes are done perfectly. There are some stupid moments like when they have on that one planet where they have Thanos stopped and they could
Like,
just kill him. Just kill him. Why not just kill him right then and there? But instead they're trying to rip off the gauntlet. And I get it, it's a movie, but just kill him. It'd be done. No matter, even if he had the gauntlet on, he's dead. But yeah, I think obviously when Spider-Man dies, it was hard to watch, even though I fucking hate Tom Holland Spider-Man. For Tony, it's hard because obviously he cared a lot about that kid. I think it was smart to split up the teams the way they did and have movies separated. I think the one low part of this movie is like when Thor and them go to make his new weapon. That's the slowest part for me of the film. And
I love that part.
yeah,
Oh
it's just slow for me.
god.
And I can't get over this. When Thor lands in Wakanda and his axe flies out, the fact that they didn't put the Led Zeppelin song right then and there, as I've seen other edits, that that song. I've seen
Yeah.
so many edits where people have put that in when it hits, and it makes the whole scene better. Not with that
I don't
garbage
know.
music they put on. I can't look at it different. But yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, but that's the Avengers theme, the da 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 da. Like
yeah,
as it's
but
doing, it's
dude,
so
no,
good.
that song would have made it perfect because it gets the flow is going already, and then that song hits, and it continues the same amount of pressure and the same amount of intensity. And
But he catches it, and as soon as he catches it, he goes dun dun dun. It's too good.
I
You
would
got
replace
it.
it. It's fine.
Yeah,
Continue.
well,
What's your next one?
each their own. Number 2 is Iron Man 3.
Not surprised.
Iron Man 3 is like so good. I love Iron Man 3. I could watch that movie like once a week if I had to. Uh it's so fucking good. I mean, he pretty much the same thing you feel about watching the first Iron Man for how Tony Stark is the way reason I like Iron Man 3 is I love how he is in that. How Robert Downey Jr. plays Tony Stark. Uh, all the reasons you hit on earlier, like the suits, the end scene, it's fucking awesome. I love how he is so cocky and so like into it, like, oh, like I'm Iron Man, and then like his house gets fucked, like it's gone and he like has to survive and he does because Jarvis takes him all the way out to I don't remember what state it is and he fucking crash lands and he's got it because he was doing this investigation. Um I like the like it brings the back in time thing, like talking about like what he did with the like the New Year's Eve party and leaving the guy on the roof. Um the whole what the fuck? I'm trying to think of the part before the scene where he's with Rhodey at a bar and he like has the panic attack about New York. That's interesting because like it's showing that like he is fucking human. Like and that's what makes like everything happens in Infinity War and Endgame even crazier, especially because what happens here in Iron Man 3. Like he's human and these things affect him. Like he has this PTSD or anxiety. I can't remember what it is officially, like because of what happened in New York and the fact that he almost fucking died and like he almost like didn't get to see the person he loves the most anymore. Like it's all done so well in Iron Man 3 and I love it. And there's a lot of things that I know people give a lot of shit like this movie for, but I just don't see it. I all I see is a great movie that I will watch any day of the week. What's your number two?
Captain America: The First Avenger. I love this movie. I think
All respect.
everything about it's great. Peggy Carter. I mean, love Peggy
Oh,
Carter. God, I love her so much.
oh,
I really like, you kind of touched on it. They, when Iron Man says like everything about you is made in a bottle, but what makes Captain America is his attitude that he had before he was Captain America. Even when he was knocked down and getting bullied, he always got up. He always cared about others. He always made sure others were doing good before him.
I
Um,
can do this all day.
yeah, and I mean that whole scene where he's chasing, like he just gets his powers and he has to
Oh,
chase that
taxi
guy.
chase?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that scene, that whole sequence is phenomenal. It's thrilling. It's great. And obviously, you get to see him like use the shield for a first time, but it's a car door. Um,
Well, it's that like he's not trained yet. Like he has no
yeah,
combat fighting. And like the as he's running, he's not used to how big and how quick he is. And he like does something where he bumps somebody or does something. He goes like, oh, he like hits the car and goes, oh, sorry, as he runs past it. Like
yeah,
it's so cool seeing like he's brand new, like you just said.
yeah.
You're right. It's
And then obviously, I mean, the whole ending where he has to basically, he has to say goodbye to his love of his life,
oh
and that whole scene where, like, I forget the last thing he says, and then she's like, Steve, Steve, and he's already crashed and everything. And then obviously the whole him waking up and they made it seem like it's 1940s again, and he's like, I've been to this game.
yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh God.
yeah, and I was like,
I know
oh
the
shit,
ending. And then the lady was like, she goes, Code Red, and he's just like fucking busts out.
yeah,
Great.
so great, yeah,
Yeah.
that's my number two.
Also, the general, I can't remember his name.
Red Skull.
Something Lee. No, the general,
Oh,
the American
oh,
general, Lee.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. Thank you. He is fucking awesome. I
Yeah,
love him in that movie.
yeah.
I totally forgot to mention when I did it, and so I'm gonna say it since you're talking about it. Great.
Who's your number one?
All right, my number one. This was very, very lately done. Uh, it was done. I actually put this in at number one, right when I finished Endgame or Ragnarok.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, believe me, I know. Um, the reason I put Thor Ragnarok in at number one is after rewatching this most recently, was the story of Thor and how far he has come at this point. Um, to me, it is it's so I guess it just hits hard. I can't really get the right word out for this, but Thor Ragnarok, his character development is phenomenal in this movie. Uh, right before everything happens in Infinity War and in Endgame, where I mean, it obviously all goes for the worse for him. And who knows what's going to happen with him after this? I know there's Thor 4 that'll come out. So with everything that happens right up into this point, I feel like is just so good. Obviously, he had lost his mother in the second movie. He talks in Endgame about not having Jane anymore. So like that whole thing is gone. His dad dies in this. He finds out he has a sister who ends up dying. He only has Heimdall and Loki and some of his people. And like once that's all ripped away from him after this, it's like it's gone. Like what little he has left, he clings to dearly in this movie, and it's phenomenally portrayed. Obviously the comedy of it is great. I like that we finally see Hulk again after not knowing what happened to him after Ultron. Um, I like the story, I mean, of Hela, like getting the background of what really happened with Asgard and with Odin, and then having the Valkyries involved. The great leader, grand master, I forget,
Yeah.
grand leader, yeah, grandmaster. He's great. I mean, Jeff Goldblum, come on, fucking awesome. Uh, the whole move or the whole planet of Sakaar, like it's a great concept. Him like Thor getting his powers then, like, is so cool. Like, getting the glowing eyes, like, channeling that and using it there. But even more so when Hela cuts his eye out and he, like, goes and talks to him like, "I'm not strong enough," like, something about his hammer, and Odin's like, "What are you, Thor, the god of hammers?" Like, it was only, like, whatever, to guide your or to direct your power, like, to funnel it or whatever, and he like fucking does the big bolt and then he does the song you're talking about and he comes down on the guys and it's just such a good fight and seeing Thor who I mean like most strongest Avenger him or Hulk who knows but like getting him here and just getting that feeling that, like he kind of deserves it to be the strongest Avenger. It's just such a good fucking movie. I have like pretty much no flaws in this movie, like from my point of view. I'm sure there's things out there that people hate. Obviously, you put this one a lot lower. I think you had it in like
It was eighth.
the teens, eighth. Really, was it eighth? Yeah, you had it lower, and I made a face. Was like, oh shit, that's my number one. He has it low. Um, yeah, it's a great fucking movie. But I'm curious to hear your number one, even though I'm pretty sure I know it now.
So before we get to that, I would just like to say another knock on Endgame because neither one of us talked it. How they handled Thor and made him a comedic subject for half the movie,
Yeah,
and that he was fat during the biggest fight of his fucking life, pissed me off. But
yeah.
that's another.
I'm really excited to see where he goes from after
Yeah.
Endgame.
My number
So
one,
excited.
it's stayed the same since last time. Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I think this is the best shot movie by far. I think it's well paced. The scenes where the scene where he's in the elevator and he's like, "Does anyone want to get out before we start this?"
Oh, I can't believe we
Great,
have to talk about that.
yeah, great scene, great scene. Robert Redford as the main bad guy and how they've been orchestrating all of this behind the scenes. You got to remember also there was a Shield TV show at the time, and so the fact that Shield was being turned into this massive fucking overarching nemesis bad guy, it was great. The fact that Captain America became wanted and people were looking for him and he wasn't on America's side for this movie was great. Obviously Bucky, I think he's a thrilling villain. The whole bridge sequence between Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, and him is great. Obviously
Yep.
Scarlett Johansson kicks ass in this movie. God, she's
He
hot.
is so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah, really good.
Oh,
The only bad thing I could say about this movie is like,
mommy, sorry, mommy.
yeah, the only I don't even know if I can say about. I mean, I guess like maybe the ending fight isn't as good as I would want it to have been, but
Oh,
it's still
dude,
really good. It's still really
it's
good.
great.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna fight you, Buck.
yeah.
Finish your mission. Oh,
Number one. There you go.
good.
There's our MC rankings from Jared 27-1 for me 24-1.
Ended up being 28.
Sorry 28.
Yeah, sorry, I know.
Real
Shit.
quick, just what number would you put Eternals at?
So that's it's hard. I have to say, Eternals, I actually was a little bit disappointed with.
As most
Uh,
people were.
which I'm surprised because what I expected from the trailers and what I got. Oh, what did I just do? Oh boy. Clicked. What I expected from the trailers and what it ended up getting were two completely separate things. When it came to like the big bads and what they were going to be or I expected them to be, it was so much different. Now, I was disappointed because I expected something and was kind of hoping for it and didn't get it. But what I got wasn't bad. It just isn't what I was expecting and slash
Right.
wanted. That being said, this is not a bad movie. Not my favorite movie, but I'd probably drop it in right. I'm gonna say right below Loki. So
Like
if I were to throw it
14th.
in there, it'd end up so it'd be 13th because my Loki was 12. I'd put it above Ant-Man and the Wasp, making it 13th.
Okay.
Um, good enough movie that I do want to see it again. It's a long movie, there's no doubt, but it was actually a lot better outside of like me just being disappointed in like the bads and all that.
Oh,
It
that
was a lot
post-credit scene, by
better.
the way.
Dude, the post-production scene had me. Okay, we're gonna talk about this after we stop recording because there's something I want to say to you about the post-credit scene because you obviously have seen it. But if I say something, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
So great, great movie. Obviously it's Marvel. They do a good job. It isn't the best, like I said, but it's worth seeing. You got to see it if you want to know what's going to happen next in the MCU. Uh, yeah, everyone got to see it at least once, just so you know. But yeah, decent movie.
Uh, so yeah, so before we end this, I got some announcements. And this will come as a surprise for you. So every Tuesday and Sunday, we're gonna try to post a reaction video to something, a trailer, a YouTube video. Um, there'll I'll try to do more reaction videos. So like if like a trailer drops, I'll try to get a reaction video from me and you up that day. Because they're really quick to edit, they're really quick to put up. Um, but for sure, Tuesdays and Sundays we will have one reaction video, whether it's me and Jared, or me, Jared, Cody, or if Jared can't make it, it's me and Cody, or me and David, whoever. We'll get a reaction video, and then I have the first TikTok scheduled for not tomorrow, but next Friday. That is like edited down, and I have to finish editing it, but it's edited down, showing our
Oh, Friday the 19th.
yes.
Okay.
I'll be taking this and cutting it down. I don't have to finish editing it. I have to start editing it. I have to take this down, or when this posts, I have to take this, like edit it down, get it into 3 minutes, and post it on TikTok. That's what's happening. That'll
Cool.
be next Friday, and then in the future, I have to figure out how to do it. We will do movie reactions where like I can show the movie on YouTube. We just have to like be on the screen, and every now and then I have to like cut to just us with no audio. So they're hard to edit. They take a long time to edit, so there'd be a lot of cuts. And then I would also have to figure out how to get Jared's screen onto my screen, like edit it so it's not like the square things. It's like little circles at the bottom right. So I mean, like it's a whole thing because I'd have to have you record it, and then we have to get a Dropbox subscription so that you can drop that big of a file to me. It's a whole thing.
Well,
Um,
if we wanted to do it where our cameras were on there, I believe is it Google Hangouts that has it where like the pictures pop up separately. So we could do something like that, but if we can't figure out a better thing, then yeah, we'd have to.
well, yeah, but I wanted to like the movies playing in the background, and then like me and you are in the bottom right, and
Yeah.
bottom left. So Google Hangout doesn't let you do that. I've already tried, looked at
Oh,
that. So we'll figure it out. But in the future, maybe not this year, but in the future, we'll be doing movie reactions. But the reaction videos we'll try to start next week, but if not, the week after for sure. So, alrighty,
cool.
that's it. That's episode 100. That is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So 30 minutes
Not
away
3
from
hours.
3 hours. Yeah. Alrighty. Thank you guys for listening. Here's to another 100 episodes. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna go play battle. Well, I'm gonna go play Battlefield. Um, yeah, and
Forza for me, baby.
make sure you guys please leave a like and subscribe on YouTube and share it. And we will see you next week.
Yep. See you later, guys.